Soldiers in Western Asia will spend their days waiting for the death of their loved ones. The general's successor also promising revenge. Dave.
Well, Simon's Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is defending the U.S. airstrike.
The Obama administration created enormous risk to the American people in Iran. This administration is working to reduce that risk.
But Democrats say the president exceeded his authority, and in Congress will provide or put forward a resolution to limit his war powers. Former Vice President Joe Biden on the campaign trail in Iowa said no president has the right to take the nation to war without the informed consent authority coming from the U.S. Congress. At the Golden Globes, 1917 was a big winner.
Another surprising award show from the Hollywood Foreign Press, winning Best Director.
And the Golden Globe goes to Sam Mendes.
Sam Mendes' World War I drama also won Best Picture, and Best Actor went to Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, and Renee Zellweger grabbed the Globe for her role as Judy.
Fox's Michelle Polino was at the award show on NBC. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won Best Comedy or Musical Film. As for TV, Succession won the Golden Globe for Best Drama. Fleabag, Best Comedy. America's listening to Fox News.
In Chicago, we have mostly fair skies this morning, 28 degrees at 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. And good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago-based Boeing is reporting more problems this morning with its grounded 737 MAX jetliner. Company telling the FAA it's trying to determine if now wiring that controls the plane's tail could short circuit and possibly cause a crash. Company is looking into whether the new issue will lead to design changes again with the plane. The 737 MAX has been grounded around the world since last March following two deadly crashes. A 20-year-old Chicago woman has been ordered held without bail on murder charges after police say she killed her two young sons, leaving one in a bathtub, throwing the other from an 11th floor apartment window before jumping herself. Aaliyah Newell of Chicago is charged with 2 counts of murder for the death of the two boys, ages 2 years and 7 months. She is also charged with attempted murder for the stabbing of her grandfather. 5:03 on AM 560, The Answer. 2 teenagers have been charged in connection with a December 29th attack on a Chicago train. Chicago police say the girls ages 15 and 16 surrendered after they saw their images posted on an alert and then went to police. Authorities say the teens admitted to participating in the robbery. 2 other females and 2 males who also participated in the CTA attack remain at large. 2 men are dead, 2 others are wounded following another Chicago mass shooting. Police say 3 men were standing near 100th and South Avenue M when 2 males jumped out of a vehicle that pulled up and fired shots. One of the 3 victims on the street pulled out his own weapon and returned fire, killing one of the 2 gunmen. Authorities continue investigating after a 9-month-old baby was beaten to death on Chicago's southwest side. Police say Jose Suarez was found unresponsive Saturday night in an apartment building near 60th and Sacramento. An autopsy determined that Juarez died of blunt head trauma and child abuse, and his death was ruled a homicide. Authorities say a body found in a northwest Indiana pond has been identified as a Chicago man who family members say had been missing for weeks. The LaPorte County coroner has identified the man as 47-year-old Joseph Clopton. Authorities say it was found near Fish Lake in Indiana, outside of a bait shop. An autopsy is scheduled for later today. 1 man is dead, his girlfriend seriously hurt following a house fire in Maywood. Blaze began early yesterday in a home in the 100 block of South 9th Avenue. There, fire officials say Cedric Brown was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. His girlfriend remains in critical condition, and fire officials say there were no working smoke detectors in that apartment. The cost to ride Uber or Lyft in Chicago is going sky high today because of the city's congestion tax. It goes into effect 6 a.m. this morning. The tax on all trips with rideshare services will change from 72 cents per trip to $1.25 for a single trip. Trips in the downtown area during weekdays from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. will also see an additional downtown surcharge. Now, the city hopes the new tax will generate $40 million in new funding. Recreational marijuana supplies running low in Chicago. The Sun-Times reporting this morning at least 3 dispensaries in the city will not be selling weed today because they are either sold out of the drug or have limited supply. Firefighters from Racine and Walworth counties in Wisconsin and several small fire departments in Illinois all chipped in to fight a 5-alarm fire in the village of Genoa City. Fire started 9 a.m. yesterday in the Pebble Brook apartments, where neighbors heard a number of explosions. Fire officials believe oxygen tanks were to blame. One of the 5 police officers wounded in last year's workplace shooting that left 5 dead is retired from the Aurora Police Department. Officer James Zegar was among the group of officers who entered the Henry Pratt warehouse during the incident. He was shot in the neck outside the warehouse. Zegar was a 26-year veteran, also survived another shootout early in his career that left him with a bullet graze wound to the head. Hamilton's run in Chicago is over. The Broadway smash hit came to a close yesterday following more than 1,300 performances over the course of 171 weeks at the CIBC Theater. Mayor Lightfoot was on hand for the final curtain.
To commemorate this very last performance in this run, and I hope they'll be back. We have declared today, January 5th, 2020, Hamilton Day in the city of Chicago.
The Tony Award-winning musical may be the most financially successful theatrical attraction in the history of theater in Chicago. Bears offensive Kyle Long announces his retirement, stepping away from football after 7 seasons in the NFL. Blackhawks score 4 unanswered goals in a 4-2 come-from-behind win over the Red Wings at the UC. Bulls visit the Mavericks later on tonight. Chicago's dropped 3 straight. Alan Griffin had a career-high 16 points and 12 boards off the bench in Illinois' blowout win over Purdue at the State Farm Center, 63-37 in Big Ten play, while Northwestern fell to Minnesota. Wisconsin-Milwaukee topped UIC. NFL wildcard weekend, Vikings stunned the Saints in overtime. Seahawks knocked off the Eagles 17-9. The news service of Mattress Firm, it's the year-end sale at Mattress Firm. Through Tuesday, save up to $600 when you get a king mattress for the price of a queen or queen for the price of a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your $4.99 purchase. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Still doesn't understand the impeachment.
No member came here to impeach the president. How does she say that with a straight face? But truth is not a left-wing value. What they always say he violated the Constitution, but what did he violate in the Constitution? Has there ever been an impeachment where only one party wanted the president impeached? No. This is unprecedented.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, have you heard that ransomware attacks have increased by 500% this year?
Yeah, cybercriminals are targeting all types of businesses, encrypting their data and holding it hostage unless they pay up.
What if we're their next victim?
Don't worry, we have Barracuda to detect, prevent, and recover from ransomware and other advanced threats.
So we're secured?
Absolutely. We'll pay no ransom and keep this business up and running.
That's a relief.
Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Dan Proft for townhall.com. New York Times columnist David Brooks wants Democrats to drop their impeachment gambit. His colleague Bret Stephens wants Democrat presidential candidates to pare down their essentially socialist proposals that would Venezuelaize the American economy. And the brothers Emanuel, my former mayor Rahm and Ari, don't think it's a good idea to tell 150 million Americans that even if they like their private health insurance, they don't get to keep it. And what's the response? Elizabeth Warren continues to push her complete set of Marxist fantasies. Joe Biden calls for fossil fuel company executives, yes, to be imprisoned, and Pete Buttigieg wants to decriminalize all illegal drugs in the face of the opioid crisis. As we enter the election year, Democrats are divided into two camps. One wants to defeat Trump at the ballot box. The other just wants to exact vengeance on Trump voters. All the candidates to this point are in the vengeance camp. I'm Dan Proft.
The Pepperdine Graduate School of Public Policy, preparing leaders for the public square. Learn more at publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Fajitas are back at Ruby Tuesday. Stop in for fresh grilled veggie, shrimp, or chicken fajitas for only $7.99. Authentic flavors that turn a meal into a fiesta. Only for a limited time and only at Ruby Tuesday.
5:11 AM 560 traffic center time, and here is Jim Talamonte.
Expressways and tollways are looking pretty good right now on this 6th of January. The ramp from the outbound Eisenhower to the outbound Kennedy is now closed long term. It's scheduled to remain closed till December as part of the Burn Circle reconstruction project. You see no delays right now on the Eisenhower or the Kennedy. For that matter, the other area expressways and tollways look pretty good. Was some morning road construction on the outbound side of the Kennedy between Montrose and Cumberland. That work has wrapped up. In Joliet, the Brandon Road Bridge, affecting Joliet and Rockdale, over the Des Plaines River. That bridge is closed for mechanical issues. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
There's a lakeshore flood advisory up until 6 a.m. Some big waves crashing along the Lake Michigan shoreline this morning. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, partly cloudy skies, the high at 42. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight, low 27. Clouds tomorrow, the high 39. And then partly sunny for Wednesday, the high at 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
28 officially at O'Hare, 31 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are your windows needy?
Call Crumweedy.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. If you need windows, call the exterior experts, Crumweedy. Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors since 1953. For them, it's all about trust. They truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They're exclusive. That's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. Lifetime! That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality. Windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. If your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. Just remember this, windowsareneedy.com. Windowsareneedy.com.
Restaurants come and go, and very few last. But when you find a restaurant that served margaritas, fun, and fantastic food for over 2 decades, you can bet it's great. That's the one-of-a-kind landmark Cafe Salsa Mexican Grill and Tequila Bar in Countryside. Cafe Salsa offers daily lunch specials, happy hour in the bar, half-price house margaritas on Wednesdays, and on Monday and Tuesday, 2 for $22 dinner specials. Ready to eat? Try their Mexican-inspired influences on traditional fare like Cafe Salsa's honey chipotle glazed pork chops, amazing carne asada, or churrasco with mushroom salsa, fajitas, or the many flavorful shrimp, steak, and chicken dishes hot off the wood fire grill. Cafe Salsa's dining room is perfect for birthdays, birthdays and family get-togethers. So check out their complete menu at cafesalsa.com or call 708-352-5100. Make your plans for lunch or dinner today at Cafe Salsa, 55th Street and LaGrange Road in Countryside, or cafesalsa.com.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and to paraphrase the songstress Cyrus, Ricky Gervais came into the Golden Globes like a wrecking ball last night.
Oh my God!
I
you
gotta
loved
say,
it, and I hated it.
Why did you hate it?
Because it was insufferable. I thought it was just a little act at first, and then it kept going throughout the whole 3 hours, and he kept reminding us how laborious and painful this whole 3 hours is. If you're celebrating someone's art, someone's life's work, and you don't want to do it, then buzz off.
No, I prefer
give the job to somebody else who cares.
Exactly. That's what you really want. You want the sincere person who cares so much, who understands the seminal importance of these self-congratulatory award shows, rather than somebody that comes in and burns the whole thing down in front of them.
I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood Foreign Press can barely speak English, and they've no idea what Twitter is. So I got offered this gig by fax. So let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no sequel. So
it was a fun. That was a fun comment about the cancel culture that Hollywood gleefully plays a part in. And then, but the thing I liked about it is it wasn't good-natured ribbing. It was
just full-on shaming.
It was a Comedy Central quality roast of an entire industry.
But you all look lovely, all dolled up. You came here in your limos. I came here in a limo tonight, and the license plate was made by Felicity Huffman. So, no, shush. It's her daughter I feel sorry for, okay? That must be the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to her. And her dad was in Wild Hogs. So...
Yeah.
Nice one.
And also in Shameless. Yeah. I didn't notice that they weren't there this time. They're normally there. William Macy is always in the front row, seated in a prominent place. He was AKA.
I wonder why. They're taking this year off.
Yeah.
And then the table with all the Munchkin mobsters, at least on the silver screen.
Lots of big celebrities here tonight. I mean, legends, icons, yeah? Look, this table alone. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Baby Yoda. That's Joe Pesci, sorry. I love you, man. Don't have me whacked. But tonight isn't just about the people in front of camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world.
And that's where he delivered his biggest singer. After that.
Yeah.
The TV executives, because everyone, that perked my interest. Like, oh, yeah, he's getting to something important here.
But tonight isn't just about the people in front of camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you.
Nervous laughter.
Look,
nervous
talking
laughter.
of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. I don't care.
I mean, he said repeatedly, too, that this is going to be his last time hosting. And I really think that this is going to be his last time.
312-642-5600, Turkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turkey.pro text line. Now, remember, Ricky Gervais, of course, is a man of the left. He buys into virtually all of the cultural Marxism, except insofar as he rallied to the defense of J.K. Rowling, who the leftist mob is trying to shame to the
For what was it
sidelines
again?
for J.K. Rowling defending a woman named Maya Forrester who was fired in England basically for saying there's a difference between men and women.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And Gervais, so he's not some sort of like conservative hero who's tearing down Hollywood, really. But I'll tell you what, there were some pointed jokes that were a little too close to home, and it made them uncomfortable, and they're all on camera, and they know it. And it was fun to watch some of them squirm at minimum. Lines like this.
Yeah.
This show should just be me coming out going, well done, Netflix, you win everything. Good night. But no, we got to drag it out for 3 hours. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer. And it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Raise your hand if you've been on the Lolita Express. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Man, I saw this happening on Twitter, and I was like, oh, my God. It was, Amy, I don't understand how you don't get, I don't like roast, but that was brilliant and hilarious. And to see the look on their faces, no, he will never be invited back.
No.
But you know what? He went out with a bang, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Thanks for the call, Candace. And I'll tell you what, the fun thing, too, is all of the celebrity CEOs.
Yeah.
Like most notably Tim Cook from Apple, who was there. And he wasn't spared, which was great because he's not used to it.
Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show. A superb drama, yeah. A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight... Don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God,
and blah, 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 blah. He swears.
So...
He got bleeped a lot.
It's already 3 hours.
So you're dumb, vainglorious, and corrupt. Good night, everybody.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Hold fast! The best picture of the year is 1917, Rave's Forbes magazine.
We've got orders to cross here. That is the German front line.
It's a soaring tribute to heroism that's both epic and intimate.
We need to keep moving!
The best war movie since Saving Private Ryan.
There's only one way this ends. Last man standing.
1917. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. Now playing in select theaters everywhere Friday.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And if you're a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then listen up.
Once again, our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway to raise money to feed families fleeing from the socialist crisis in Venezuela. These families are now in Colombia and are starving. And our good friends at Food for the Poor are working with partners on the ground at feeding centers to make sure these families survive.
And here's how your business can be a part of the solution. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Friday at no additional cost to you.
Dan, that's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. Through the generosity of your business, you'll be helping 8 families. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Nikowski at 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951. One more time, 847-472-8951.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Rick Blavelone, second-generation owner and CEO of Marketing Innovators and a customer of Signature Bank. Our family-run company was founded on the belief that connecting to people on a human level is the best way to build a great business. And when we were looking for a new bank, we didn't have to look far. We shared an office building with Signature Bank in Rosemont and quickly saw that they were truly locally owned and operated. That's why we partnered with Signature. And that relationship makes every business decision better and every communication clearer. Marketing Innovators looks forward to a long-lasting relationship with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and there were some awards handed out, not that anybody particularly cares. The best meme I saw on the Ricky Gervais opening monologue was, this is Ricky Gervais leaving the Golden Globes, and it was Heath Ledger from Dark Knight walking down the street in a maniacal fashion after having blown up the hospital. It was just about what he did.
Well, you wanted, Joaquin Phoenix from The Joker. He won, obviously, for Best Actor, a Golden Globe, but he's just a little off, and maybe that's what makes him so good at his craft. But at the end, he tried to be political to warn, people who own private planes, just take your car.
I'm learning so much, and so many of you in this room have given me multiple opportunities to try to get it right, and I'm deeply grateful. But I think together, hopefully, we can be unified and actually make some changes. It's great to vote, but sometimes we have to take that responsibility on ourselves and make changes and sacrifices in our own lives. And I hope that we can do that. We don't have to take private jets to Palm Springs for the awards sometimes or back, please. And I'll try to do better, and I hope you will too. Thank you so much for putting up with me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this night and all of you.
So he was in character then. That sounds sounds like him in The Joker.
I know,
actually,
that's why I was concerned. He was going like this too, and he.
Spoiler alert!
Right.
Spoiler alert!
What?
Did he shoot Robert De Niro at the Golden Globes?
He did not. He didn't even look at that table. But yeah, he's a little off. But the bottom line was, Dan, carbon emissions, take your car instead of your private plane when you go to Palm Springs. Okay?
Yeah, Brad Pitt, too.
Still hot. Oh, he's just dreamy. But he made a huge mistake. But you say what you want to say.
Oh, my gosh. This is like
He
doing
made
a
a
show
huge mistake.
with what's the Melissa Rivers?
Oh,
Is she
yes,
still
right,
around?
right. The red carpet.
I mean, are you going to
Blue
you want to
carpet.
talk about Selma Hayek's dress next?
No, I don't. I want to say, well, you tell me what you think.
This Brad Pitt bro moment with LDC.
Who's?
Ugh. It's just this is what Ricky Gervais is making fun of, and they don't even know it. They play right down to character. Again, Brad Pitt.
Who's LDC?
LDC. You know, he was in the movie.
You know me.
He was in the movie with Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Once Upon a Time.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. How good are the writers? How good are the post-production people in Hollywood to make these dum-dums look good?
I thank my partner in crime, LDC. You know, before The Revenant, I used to watch, year after year, his co-stars accept awards and get up and thank him profusely. I know why. He's an all-star. He's a gent. And I wouldn't be here without you, man. I thank you. Still, I would have shared the raft.
I would have shared the raft.
Boy, talk about timely humor. Titanic? Anybody? What? Titanic?
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais.
Was a door for
how about compare that to Ricky Gervais on LDC?
Long, but amazing. It wasn't the only epic movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, nearly 3 hours long. Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So
he laughed too. He thought it was funny. Did a cutaway shot.
Even Prince Andrew's like, come on, Leo, mate. You're nearly 50, son.
Hi-yo! Huh? Are you laughing now? 25 and out, right? That's LDC's rule.
Right.
LDC.
Please. Quickly, though, Brad Pitt did not thank his children. If you're going through a custody battle, you want to thank maybe the children you gave birth to. Well, he thanked his mom, who was in the Ozarks, but he didn't thank his children.
Yeah. You're in the group of people that cares about the lives of these people, and I'm in the group that doesn't.
I want him to get custody of his kids.
And that's the disconnect. Yeah.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All right, we'll go from the silly to the serious. We're going to talk about the developments with respect to Iran over the weekend at 5:38.
And later, it has happened again. Another teacher taking some dumps in a public park. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
28 degrees, a lakeshore flood advisory, and this morning in Iran. General Qasem Soleimani's daughter says his death will bring a dark day for the U.S. She addressed broadcast state TV in Iran today, taunting the president and this country. Meantime, Senator Mark Warner in this country says he's not sure how the U.S. can be looked at as stronger and smarter if Iraqi allies are asking some troops to leave.
If our NATO allies don't feel like they're going to be informed before we take this kind of action, and frankly, if the people in the region that were against the Iranian regime all across the region are now rallying against America.
But for Senator Marco Rubio, he knows the decision to take out a top Iranian military commander was justified.
Iran was on the verge of scaling up the attacks that they were aiming against the United States, not just in Iraq, but in Syria as well. And the United States had to take action in order to prevent that from happening.
In fact, the Florida Republican told CBS's Face the Nation that the president has shown actual tremendous restraint by not responding to violent attacks in the past. The assassination of Iran's top military commander is bigger than the death of Osama bin Laden.
The equivalent in U.S. terms of the CIA director, CENTCOM commander, JSOC commander, and presidential envoy for the region for Iran.
That's word from former CIA Director David Petraeus, the retired general, telling CBS's Face the Nation it was impossible to overstate the significance of Friday's attack. At 5:33, other stories we're following this morning. 3 New Yorkers are among 5 killed in Sunday's deadly Pennsylvania Turnpike crash. 60 are hospitalized after a tour bus hit an embankment and flipped over. 3 Americans are dead after an attack on a military base in Kenya Sunday. A South Carolina policeman is the first U.S. law enforcement officer killed in the line of duty this year, 26-year-old Officer Jackson Winkler. 4 Coast Guard members are safe but hurt after they were tossed into the Columbia River when their vessel capsized near Astoria, Oregon, over the weekend. English actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge, this year's Golden Globe winner for Best Actress in a TV musical or comedy. It's the first Golden Globe for the star of the Amazon show Fleabag. The British World War I film 1917 was awarded Best Drama. Chicago-based Boeing reporting more problems with its grounded 737 MAX airliner, this time the wiring that controls the plane's tail. A 20-year-old Chicago woman has been ordered held without bail on murder charges after police say she killed her 2 young sons, leaving one in a bathtub and throwing another from an 11th floor apartment window. A man is facing charges this morning connected to an armed robbery and hostage situation in Rockford from Friday. Nicholas August is in jail for entering the Heritage Credit Union, threatening employees, and taking a 39-year-old female hostage. According to police, that hostage was also sexually assaulted. The winner of the pickup truck wars for 2019 will be known later today when Ford releases its sales figures. Its F-150 is expected to be on top, but there is a new number 2. For the first time ever, Dodge Ram outsold the Chevy Silverado by a 10-to-1 margin. It's the equivalent of the current Chevy Malibu outselling the Honda Accord or Toyota Camry. Blackhawks over the Red Wings. Bulls take on the Mavericks later on tonight. It was an Illini blowout of Purdue at the State Farm Center, while Northwestern fell to Minnesota in Big Ten hoops. 5:36, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a robust economy.
You can't contradict that these are the best numbers of our lives.
So it was Jim Cramer, and he said no matter what you think of the president, there's no denying we are living in the best labor market in more than a generation. Well, we already know that. We've never had a better employment situation in the country than we do now.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer. Daily stress is a big deal. Fact is, the terrible impact of stress is very deadly and shortens our lives. Stressed individuals attract diseases, just like blood in the water attracts sharks. Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. I'm the show host of Health Quest Radio, the longest-running health news and science show in Chicago. And for over 33 years, we share practical concepts from a natural healthcare perspective to minimize the need for all those dangerous drugs and risky surgeries. Today, it's our dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test. No blood, just spit. You know, most people flunk on their first go-around signaling adrenal gland distress. And then following our stress-busting strategies, most individuals pass their second test with flying colors. So if you can spare a little spit, call and purchase your first dirt-cheap adrenal stress index test, and we'll hold that same special low price for your follow-up test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. 800-794-1855. And be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio this Saturday morning at 11.
Hey, check out this report of our Office 365 email and the threats sitting in users' inboxes.
Wow, how did you get this?
There's a free tool called Barracuda Email Threat Scanner that can quickly and safely scan our Office 365 email for hidden threats like spear phishing and domain fraud.
Really?
Yeah, Barracuda Email Threat Scanner identifies hidden threats and employees most at risk for a cyber attack, all summarized in a complete report.
This is great.
Get your free email threat scan now at barracuda.com. Barracuda, your journey secured.
Hi, Saver. Looking for ways to save on your Medicare Part D copays? We love that at Walgreens. We're a preferred network pharmacy with many plans nationwide, which could mean lower copays for you. Bring your prescriptions to a Walgreens pharmacy and start saving today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901. Walgreens participates as a preferred network pharmacy with United Healthcare, Cigna, and Express Scripts Medicare. Walgreens participates with other plans. See walgreens.com/Medicare for details.
Elevators and escalators are used thousands of times a day in millions of buildings around the world, and we rarely think about them. That is, until something goes wrong. Buildings spend a fortune on maintenance and repairs and yet still seem to experience issue after issue. If you're a property owner or manager, keeping the elevators safe and operational is at the forefront. But how much do you actually know about one of the biggest assets in your building? Elevators and escalators are highly specialized equipment, so the answer is probably not enough, but that's okay, because the Elevator Consultants are here to help. The Elevator Consultants levels the playing field for building owners and property managers, ensuring your equipment is running smoothly and affordably, especially if using the Elevator app, a game-changing technology that tracks all maintenance activity. Call the Elevator Consultants at 312-519-9949 or visit theelevatorconsultants.com to set up a free consultation. Call the Elevator Consultants, 312-519-9949.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
Jim Talamonte has the latest in the AM 560 traffic center.
We have a crash to report this morning on I-57. It's northbound at I-80. Traffic is moving well on 80 at this hour. Inbound Bishop Ford Freeway traffic's getting a little bit congested now, approaching the verge. No delays at the moment on the Ryan. Eden's wide open. Same goes for the Kennedy. The Eisenhower still looks good. Now the ramp from the outbound Ike to the outbound Kennedy is now closed until December. That's what the schedule says. That's for long-term reconstruction. Stevenson is still okay. We see no delays right now in the area tollways. No problems to report in northwest Indiana. 8094, Indiana Toll Road, or I-65. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, clouds and sun, 42 today, cloudy and 27 overnight. It's 28 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Oh, no more Mr. Nice Guy from Iran. That's it. They're not going to abide any of the strictures of the Obama-era nuclear surrender deal.
Well, it left me shaking in my boots. They can get that A-bomb ready to go.
An alternative headline to the New York Times story with this bombshell, pun intended, is Iran's going to stop lying about their designs on nuclearization. How about that? That's what's actually happening. President Trump delivered a statement about his decision to authorize that strike on terrorist Quds General Soleimani.
Yeah, he did
Thursday
on
night.
Friday at West Palm Beach.
Oh, right. He delivered the statement on Friday and
Was silent on Saturday.
Explaining the basis for it.
Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel, but we caught him in the act and terminated him. Under my leadership, America's policy is unambiguous to terrorists who harm or intend to harm any American. We will find you. We will eliminate you. We will always protect our diplomats, service members, all Americans, and our allies.
And on that matter, because this became a point of contention about the designs that General Soleimani had, I mean, he's only been waging war on the United States for 2 decades. He, again, responsible, according to the State Department, for the deaths of 600-plus U.S. soldiers in Iraq over the last decade, plus, in addition to thousands of Iraqi soldiers and civilians. Mike Pompeo was on Wallace's show on Fox News Sunday.
And don't forget all the roadside bombs, too, that left people without limbs.
True. Injured, yeah. That doesn't include those that he severely injured. That's right. Pompeo explaining the reference that Trump made to the designs the general had.
I think any reasonable person who saw the intelligence that the senior American leaders had in their possession would have come to the same conclusion that President Trump and our leadership team did about the fact that there would have been more risk to America, more risk through inaction than there was through the action that we took. I think it's very clear. I think it's very plain. We'll do everything we can to share this information with the American people, but I think the American people understand too. There's certain things you just can't put out in public. You got to protect Americans who are out collecting the intelligence.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you have an issue with President Trump's decision here? Tucker Carlson did. Tucker Carlson complaining about neocons beating their chests over Soleimani's death and the Iraqi militia leader that was with him. Has this been a problem for you? Do you think this is a bad policy choice? Was this an assassination, as
Bernie Sanders called it?
And so did Chief Warren.
They're 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you fear Iranian retaliation? Mike Pompeo addressed that.
Remember where we came in 2015, the Obama-Biden administration essentially handed power to the Iranian leadership and acted as a quasi-ally of theirs by underwriting the very militias that killed Americans. Those resources, the money that they had to build out those forces throughout the Shia Crescent was provided to them by the nuclear deal. We allowed Europeans to go do business there. We provided them $150 billion, pallets of cash. All of these things are the very challenge that the Trump administration has had to correct. The strategy is working. We're going to stay the course, and we will protect and defend the American people at every step, Chris. We've made clear to the theocrats and kleptocrats that are running Iran today, running it into the ground against the will of their own people, we made clear to them that we would not respond just against these proxy forces that they run in Yemen and in Syria and in Iraq and in Lebanon. We made clear that this cost would be brought home to them, to the leadership regime in Iran, and that we would raise costs. We wouldn't just attack their asymmetric efforts. We would respond in a way that imposed costs on the decision makers who are putting American lives at risk.
We'll go after the decision makers, like, say, the general of the Quds Force. And that's what they've done.
But it's not if, it's when they're going to retaliate. They said they needed 3 days, to grieve, and his body was taken back to his hometown in northern Iran. And so now, which target? What are they going to get? Military bases? What are they going to strike? And then is that it? A tit for tat?
Yeah.
Because they had an Iranian government official on CNN this morning saying, we are going to retaliate, but we don't want to go to war with you.
Right. I wouldn't take anything that anyone from the Khomeini regime says at face value. Remember what Ayatollah Khomeini said 40 years ago. Islam is nothing if not political. These are political actors. Political actors. Yes, they're theocrats. Yes, they're terrorists. They're also political actors, which is why all of this World War III rhetoric coming from the left is unhinged.
Coming from the left, my kids, I picked them up at high school on Friday. They're convinced World War III is going to happen.
And where
memes are spreading everywhere. Like, Mom,
right.
That's all we talked about today is World War III. I said, World War III is not going to happen.
Right, as I said, coming from the left, like the teachers at Allman Brothers High School. Yeah, of course. They have targets. President Trump mentioned that so do we.
If Americans anywhere are threatened, we have all of those targets already fully identified, and I am ready and prepared to take whatever action is necessary. And that in particular refers to Iran.
And Trump tweeted, let this serve as a warning that if Iran strikes any Americans or American assets, we have targeted 52 Iranian sites, representing the 52 American hostages that were taken by Iran many years ago. Some at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture. And the two of the 4 Spice Girls head spinning thing. You can't go after cultural sites. That's an war crime. That's a war crime. Yeah.
Craig in Mount Greenwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy. This is another perfect example. You got Obama trying to bribe our enemies with $150 billion, all going towards terrorism to take attack our soldiers and around the world and all that stuff. Then you got Trump making a perfect decision to take out this. This guy was a butcher against our military guys and assets and everything for decades and everything. What a great decision on Trump's part and accomplishment. And then you watch the media, how they basically covered for Obama, and then they basically go against Trump here. What an example of how corrupt that media is and like that. And
thanks for the call,
I mean,
Craig.
but was this
Appreciate
the right and best way to take him out? I mean, is this trying to, because of course the left and other people were asking, is this a way to deflect from impeachment that's going on?
Yeah, Mike Pompeo was asked about that, kind of, sort of, not the wag the dog question, but has impeachment weakened the president such that our enemies are emboldened?
Do you think that, as misguided as it may be, that some of our enemies think that this president is more vulnerable because of the impeachment effort?
You should ask Mr. Soleimani.
Zing.
Oh.
Yeah. General Petraeus on Face the Nation.
I watched that interview. That was good.
Here's what General Petraeus had to say, pushing back against Margaret Brennan, who was suggesting that what Pompeo said, that this was de-escalation in nature, was untrue. That's Margaret Brennan pushing back. Here's what Petraeus said.
If Americans anywhere are threatened...
That's not it. Petraeus, he basically said you can't overstate the importance of taking out Soleimani. More important than taking out bin Laden, more important than taking out al-Baghdadi. He also basically said, when I was a CIA, when I was in theater, we didn't have the opportunity because Soleimani wasn't so high profile. In the more recent years, he has become more high profile, and thus the opportunity presented itself.
Well, it was a surprise, to be candid. We'd never gone after him before, although I hasten to add that he never dared set foot inside Iraq, to my recollection, when I was commanding the surge, nor in the time that I was the commander of U.S. Central Command. He only really became visible in the way that he has in more recent years after the Arab Spring, supporting the murderous Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and then very actively supporting the Iranian-supported militia inside Iraq that were helping to contend with the Islamic State invasion of northern and western Iraq.
He openly traveled.
He did. He did
selfies
on the front line. Yeah, he was on social media. But of course, that was a period when he was helping Iraq go after the same enemy that we eventually helped Iraq defeat. And make no mistake about it, those militia and the Iraqi security forces could not have defeated the Islamic State in Iraq without our enabling forces, our drones, our precision munitions, and our intelligence and advice.
Don't you find it curious? I mean, you want to take out terrorist leaders, don't you? We cheered when Osama bin Laden was taken out during the Obama administration.
Oh, heck yeah.
And that wasn't that the campaign slogan, bin Laden's dead and GM is alive? So why the resistance?
I know, it's so weird to say.
When it comes to taking out Baghdadi and now taking out Soleimani. The hysteria from the left. World War III, they're going to reinstitute the draft. This is a stick of dynamite in a tinderbox. This was a political assassination. This was illegal. It was none of those things. None of those things. Lewis on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Because of this impeachment, the world is looking at Trump as being unimportant, because if you remember when he had that summit about a month ago, and the Canadian Prime Minister and the French Prime Minister, they were standing there laughing at Trump because he was being impeached. But what people don't realize is that
they weren't laughing at him because of that. They were laughing at his never-ending press conference.
Yeah, but what the world doesn't realize is that we are already at war. We're at war when President Trump put those sanctions on Iran. He also put sanctions on North Korea. He put sanctions on Russia, and he and he put that trade war on China. And so, as far as them saying that a war is going to start, no, we're already at war. And what Donald Trump is doing, he's fulfilling his promise of getting us out of these endless wars and making and leveling the playing field out there for us to progress. What we're having an economic war. It's not a conventional war.
All right, thanks for the call, Lewis. Well, as somebody texted to me, World War III, yeah, that already started. It started on 9/11. That's when the world changed.
And according to ABC News, too, Soleimani was planning on attacking our U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon.
Yeah, I thought he was an honor student just about to turn his life around. That's the way he's being covered by some of the press outlets. Mike Pompeo as well on the endless wars argument, because now, again, one of the layers of criticism here, assassination, illegal, reckless, extreme. Also, Trump promised to get us out of endless wars. Now he's getting us into a war. That was the argument, including by Tulsi Gabbard, Pompeo responding.
Endless wars are the direct result of weakness, and President Trump will never let that happen. We're going to get it right. We're going to get the force posture right. We're going to get our facilities as hardened as we can possibly get them to defend against what Iran may potentially do. But make no mistake, America's mission is to have our footprint in the Middle East reduced while still keeping America safe from rogue regimes like the Islamic Republic of Iran and from terrorist activity broadly throughout the region.
So is it fair to say that while the big strategy is to pull the U.S. out of endless wars, at least in the short term, there could be more of a commitment?
The Obama administration created enormous risk to the American people in Iran. This administration is working to reduce that risk.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Imagine selling your home in under 30 days without ever listing it. It's possible with the Wexler Real Estate Group's new Instant Offer program. Just schedule a home evaluation and receive an offer for your home. You don't have to pay commissions, service fees, or buyer closing costs. There's no home improvements, inspection, repairs, open houses, or for sale signs. You don't even have to do the dishes. If you accept the offer, you pick the closing date that's convenient for you. And you can be out in less than 30 days. Hassle-free. If you do choose the traditional sales route, no problem. Ron Wexler, Tammy Northcutt, and the team at the Wexler Group at Keller Williams Preferred Realty have over 35 years of experience to help you sell your home for top dollar in today's market. For more information on the Wexler Group's Instant Offer program, call or text 708-629-5151. That's 708-629-5151. Or visit thewexlergroup.com. Certain conditions and fees apply. Ron Wexler is an Illinois licensed real estate agent serving Chicago and its suburbs. If you are a police officer or firefighter retiring this year, please listen carefully. This message is for you. You have unique retirement challenges unlike any other occupation, thus requiring more complex solutions. Marty Gahn has been the trusted financial advisor to police and fire retirees for over 20 years. As a certified financial planner and retired firefighter, Marty has the experience and expertise to help you maintain a quality lifestyle during this next chapter. Do you want straightforward answers to questions regarding your retirement picture? If so, contact Marty at Gahn Capital Management today. The decisions you make today will affect the quality of your retirement over the next 20 to 30 years. If you're a retired police or fire professional, contact Marty today to schedule a complimentary consultation. Call 773-467-0000 or visit retirementfortheblue.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, real quick, talking about Iran. Jason in Northlake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Jason. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to bring up, I remember the left wringing their hands about when we pulled out of the most recent, if it was Syria or Lebanon, and now they're crying that we're starting World War III.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Thanks for the call, Jason. Right. Trump was showing reckless disregard for America's interest in world stability by troop removal in Syria, and now going after the lead sponsor of terror in the world after 3 months of being peppered by them, and more than peppered by them, U.S. contractor killed. Now he's a warmonger. If the left wasn't inconsistent, they wouldn't be able to speak at all.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
60 Minutes asked the question, did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself at 6:06?
Oh, I can't wait to hear the answer. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A new rideshare tax goes into effect today. Hamilton ends its run in Chicago, and the Bears, Kyle Long, is retiring. Clouds and sun in your forecast. WIND Chicago news time is 6 o'clock.
He is vowing to get revenge. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. General Qasem Soleimani's successor said on Iran State TV today, actions will be taken after last week's airstrike that killed the general in Iraq. And he's being mourned by hundreds of thousands in Tehran today at a funeral led by Iran's supreme leader. Soleiman's daughter says the families of American soldiers will spend their days waiting for the deaths of their loved ones. President Trump warns more strikes may be coming. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Today, President Trump tweeted, if Iran strikes any American person or target, the U.S. will hit back, perhaps in a disproportionate manner. The president claims his tweets serve as legal notice to Congress, but Democrats say the president needs the informed consent of lawmakers to take the nation to war and will introduce legislation this week. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on ABC's This Week.
We do not need this president either bumbling or impulsively getting us into a major war.
The president has specified 52 sites for potential action, including some important to Iranian culture. Dave?
Rachel, Democrats running for president are also critical of the airstrike that took out the Iranian general. And less than a month before the first contest, the Iowa caucuses, Bernie Sanders has risen up to force a three-way tie in Iowa.
According to the CBS News Battleground Tracker, Sanders is now in first place in Iowa, tied with former Vice President Joe Biden and South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, all three coming in at 23%.
Fox's Ellison Barber. Sanders is in first in the CBS poll in New Hampshire at 27%, then Biden 25%, Elizabeth Warren in third, 18%, then Buttigieg 13%. 1917 won big at the Golden Globes. The film got Best Drama. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won the Golden Globe for Best Comedy or Musical Movie, and for TV Succession, Best Drama, Fleabag, Best Comedy. America's listening to Fox News.
Skies are fair, 28 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago-based Boeing reporting more problems with its grounded 737 MAX airliner. The company telling the FAA it's trying to determine now if wiring that controls the plane's tail could short circuit and possibly cause a crash. You may recall the 737 MAX has been grounded around the world since last March, following two deadly crashes. In other news we're following this morning, 2 men are dead, 2 others wounded following another Chicago mass shooting. Police say 3 men were standing yesterday near 100th and South Avenue M when 2 males jumped out of a vehicle that pulled up and fired shots. One of the 3 victims on the street pulled out his own weapon and returned fire, killing one of the 2 gunmen. The cost to use Uber or Lyft in Chicago going way up today, with the city's congestion tax going into effect. All trips with rideshare services will change from 72 cents per trip to $1.25 for a single trip. City hopes the new tax will generate up to $40 million in new funding. Hamilton's run in Chicago is over. The Broadway smash coming to a close yesterday following more than 1,300 performances at the CIBC Theater. Blackhawks score 4 unanswered and come from behind for a 4-2 win over the Red Wings at the UC. Bulls visiting the Mavericks tonight. Big Ten Hoops Fighting Illini a blowout win over Purdue 63-37. NFL Wildcard Weekend, your winners, the Vikings and the Seahawks. The news service of Mattress Firm through Tuesday. Save up to $600 when you get a king mattress for the price of a queen or a queen for the price of a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your $4.99 purchase. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Celebrate the new year with a change. Stamp your passport to paradise. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Huatulco, Mexico. You'll stay at the Secrets Huatulco Resort and Spa from March 28th through April 4th. It's a beautiful adults-only unlimited luxury resort located on Conejos Bay. Don't get left out in the cold this year. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport. Presented by Joe Cotton Ford.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Paging Brenda Lawson. Bank account number 0040891. Report to Gate 6.
Data breaches are on the rise, which means your personal info is practically being broadcast to identity thieves. Good thing there's LifeLock to help protect your identity. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps look out for you, whether or not your information is exposed in a breach. Save up to 25% off your first year using promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results vary. Exclusions apply.
Contacts and glasses are such a hassle. I'd love to finally get LASIK, but
I'm going to stop you right there. If you want LASIK, then the LASIK Vision Institute has officially taken away everything standing in your way.
Isn't LASIK expensive?
Not at the LASIK Vision Institute. We're offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye, and an absolutely free consultation. See for free if LASIK is right for you by texting LIKE to 350350.
But I'm really busy.
A text only takes seconds. The LASIK procedure typically only takes 15 minutes, and most patients can get back to work the following day. The LASIK Vision Institute uses the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for as little as $220 per eye. Dr. Greenberg has performed 75,000 laser eye surgeries and is one of the most experienced LASIK surgeons in Chicago.
What's that text again?
Text LIKE to 350350. That's LIKE to 350350 to schedule your free consultation today.
Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples.
606 AM 560 Traffic Center and Jim Telemonte.
I-80 eastbound traffic is stop and go from 183rd Street to I-57. There's a crash on the ramp to northbound I-57. The left lane is blocked on that ramp. Edens looks good inbound Kennedy. Little tight Austin to Central. 1 or 2 minute delay. And outbound, looking at a 3 or 4 minute delay approaching O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, it's tight Damon into the Burns Circle. 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 29, but the ramp to the outbound Kennedy is now closed for reconstruction. Inbound Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to the drive. Bryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop 4, traffic's a little heavy approaching the merge. Northbound Lakeshore Drive a bit tight. Roosevelt to Balboa. I'm Jim Telemonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1 hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Times of clouds and sun today. The high at 42. Mostly cloudy for tonight, low 27. Cloudy day tomorrow, the high near 39. And then sun and clouds on Wednesday with a high only reaching 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
28 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It's unfortunately ringing in the new year, 2020. I feel like today is really January 1st because most people were gone until today. So happy New Year.
Suburbanites are back to school.
Unfortunately, we're ringing in the new year in part with a whole bunch of news about a whole bunch of predators. Harvey Weinstein speaketh. Well,
yeah, his jury selection begins today, I believe, in his trial.
CNN sent 8 questions to Harvey Weinstein, which he replied to via email. And, you know, I was hoping, of course, they find out how his battle to take down the NRA was going.
Oh, that's right. Deflect.
The past 2 years have been grueling and have presented me with a great opportunity for self-reflection. I realize now that I was consumed with my work, my company, and my drive for success. This caused me, writes Weinstein, to neglect my family, my relationships, and lash out at the people around me. I've been in rehab since October of 2017 and have been involved in a 12-step program and meditation. I've learned to give up my need for control.
Oh. Does anyone want to tell him that he's lost his control of an industry that he once dominated?
Are you persuaded by that contrition?
He's not a victim.
He's
But
working on himself.
Okay, well, that's great. Good for him.
Does he have any empathy for his accusers? CNN asked.
Ooh, what did he say?
While I do have many empathetic opinions regarding many people, I am following the advice of lawyers on the eve of my trial not to offer any commentary on this.
Smart move. Okay.
And then he went back to himself, of course.
Enough about me. What do you think of me?
The public's biggest misconceptions come from the assumptions that have been made through the help of the media. Oh, golly. Oh, no. Is the media treating Harvey Weinstein poorly after covering for him for the past 3 decades?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick question.
My meditation and focus on looking inward has helped me balance my emotions, wrote Weinstein. The whole process has been overwhelming, but I'm working every day to stay level. The new and improved Harvey Weinstein. I plan to focus on my children, my health, and my rest. If I can do something positive to advance the causes that I always champion, I hope to find a way to do so.
Vomit.
There's one of your predators in the news. You got the second season of Surviving R. Kelly that's up and running.
Did you watch the first one yet?
No. But I get it.
Well, you told me to watch One Child, One Nation. That was good. I'm telling you, you should watch R. Kelly.
One Child Nation is
or
that Chinese,
that one.
Oh yeah, I saw Neverland, so
Yeah,
I sort of get it. I sort of get it. Yeah, I get what he.
Same theme, but different characters. Different way to.
I understand, but that's why this is the category header here is predators.
Yeah.
And then of course Jeffrey Epstein, still waiting for those in his predatory circle to be brought to justice, starting with Ghislaine Maxwell. But in the interim, this open question that continues to be an internet meme. Epstein didn't kill himself. Did he? Didn't he? 60 Minutes looked at it in some detail yesterday, and they had a bunch of photos that have not been made publicly available before from inside Epstein's cell, as well as autopsy photos, pretty graphic. So
did he kill himself?
Well, they went through it. There's a number of issues, as you know. They started with Dr. Michael Baden on the autopsy.
The forensic evidence released so far, including the autopsy, point much more to murder and strangulation than the suicide and suicidal hanging. I hesitate to make a final opinion until all the evidence is in.
People will say, well, you're being paid by Mark Epstein, so of course you're going to say that something suspicious is going on.
That's a reasonable thing for some people to think. But our job is to find what the truth is, just to find out whether it's a homicide or a suicide. We still haven't gotten all the information.
So let's go issue by issue. One issue, it's probably maybe not the first issue, but one issue, is the EMS response, and Baden goes into that.
The guards say they came in at 6:30. They found him. They call emergency services. They tried to do CPR with him, but he's dead. But rather than leave the body there, they take the body to an emergency room.
Yeah.
Is that normal protocol?
No, that's not normal protocol. The EMS people normally, and especially in jail, should not move a dead body.
He's right. Bureau of Prison Protocol mandates a suicide scene should be treated with the same level of protection as any crime scene in which a death has occurred.
Two more issues. One, 60 Minutes talked to the lawyer for that killer cop that was his cellmate for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And then also a former warden. So first issue was Epstein attacked by that cop that was his cellmate for a minute. And what about the decision to remove Epstein from the psych unit after he allegedly attempted a suicide.
Right, they put him back in General Pop way too soon.
Well, those are two of the issues that were discussed by the respective parties.
Epstein says that Nick tried to kill him. Nick says absolutely nothing like that happened.
It's not just Nick says absolutely nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. No one says that Nick tried to kill Epstein.
Epstein was moved to the psych unit and placed on suicide watch. But 1 week later, Epstein, at the direction of the MCC's psychological staff, was taken off suicide watch and required to have an assigned cellmate.
This was a monumental failure on all levels, and that's why it has fueled the conspiracies, and I understand that.
Cameron Lindsay is a former federal prison warden.
Who should have made sure that he wasn't taken off suicide watch, in your opinion?
The leadership of the facility should have stepped in and said, while I appreciate the perspective of you, chief psychologist, I'm going to override that decision, and we're going to leave Epstein on suicide watch, especially subsequent to the suicide attempt that he had.
And I don't know if they mentioned it last night, but remember, his lawyers had spent the day with him, prior to him going to his cell that night, and said he was in great spirits, was ready to fight this, so they were shocked more than anybody that he allegedly hung himself.
There's some other countervailing evidence, notes that he wrote about the conditions there that were frustrating, to say the least, about rats and about just the quality of the food, just stuff like that.
Quality of the food. Can I speak to your chef, please?
Well, remember, you're talking about a 60-year-old dude who's lived a very comfortable, luxurious life. And
an opulent life.
Well, right. And so that's done a 180 in a very quick period of time. So you think there's a little bit of adjustment going on? I think that's fair. Another issue, the second surveillance camera.
That wasn't rolling?
Right. But here's...
I've had a point of contention with that since the beginning.
But now listen, yes. the lawyer for the killer cop, so
who was housed with Epstein for a while,
takes all of the evidence that we're discussing and that 60 Minutes profiled into consideration, and listen to his conclusion.
So in the SHU, they should be checked in on every 30 minutes.
They should be checked on every 30 minutes. It's my understanding, based on the documents that I examined, the two officers that were working in the special housing unit allegedly falsified the records and did not do any rounds for approximately 8 hours.
How big of a deal is that?
That's a huge, huge deal. This is one of the most basic operational aspects of managing a jail or prison.
Instead, federal prosecutors say surveillance video makes clear the guards searched the internet and appeared to have been asleep.
So that's another issue.
Nappy-noopy.
Right. So the surveillance camera isn't working. Just refreshing your recollection. This has been reported. Some of it has, some of it has not. This has been. And the guards, supposed to check every half hour, were off the grid for 8 hours.
In November, Attorney General William Barr told reporters he personally reviewed surveillance video that showed nobody entered the area where Epstein was held. But sources say a second camera inside the tier, the one that could have seen Epstein's cell door and the doors of other inmates, was not working that night.
The theories that are out there, one of them is that it was another inmate who may have killed Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on.
You don't believe that?
He was found hanging in his cell. He had tried to commit suicide before that. He was a very wealthy man who was looking at a lifetime in prison.
But he's so narcissistic and egotistical. I don't think he's the type of person that would kill himself. I just don't.
The lawyer for the killer cop said sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, paraphrasing Kipling, who, of course, said a woman is a woman, but a cigar is a smoke. So there's a bit of contention between Kipling and the killer cop's attorney.
Okay,
I just wanted to note that for the record.
Thank you for pointing that out.
The warden that...
Who got paid off? No, I'm sorry, what?
No. This is the warden that they're interviewing, a former warden that they're interviewing as an expert.
The guards fell asleep. It seems almost impossible to think all of those things could happen in that way.
It does, and that's what makes this so shocking. I mean, this is a failure on multiple levels.
Do you think there's any way that Jeffrey Epstein could have been murdered?
Absolutely, unequivocally not.
Not. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. Where do you come down? Do you believe there was something amiss, or was it a suicide? Patrick on the Northwest Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I just want to make a comment. I was a paramedic for 23 years, a fighter captain. They said that the protocol for the hospital was to leave a suicide in the cell, which is not entirely true. If you're an EMS crew paramedic, you're probably familiar with the SOPs. When you get there, if the guards tell you, we just seen him 5 minutes ago, he's not rigor mortis, you're doing a full workup, whole resuscitation efforts, ACLS, you take him to the hospital. You're not leaving the body there. Even if you're based on what, the guards tell you or based on some other scenarios. So it's not entirely true that you see someone that you think is dead and you leave them lay there. All right. Imagine liability on the EMS.
Well, that
not trying to revive somebody.
So two things. One is that may be different for the Bureau of Prisons than it is for the general population. But okay, your point is well taken. The second thing, according to the reporting at 60 Minutes, they put the time of death for Epstein at somewhere in the 4 a.m.
ish category.
Right, and the guards didn't come and check on him until 6:30. So does that two and a half hour? Does that make any difference?
Yeah, but no. What did the guards tell the paramedics? That would be interesting. If you look at the EMS report, it'll say the guards said we just seen him 5 minutes ago, and I can't tell you how many times I've been told inaccurate information.
Yeah.
So if they were told we just seen him, they're going to do a full workup and take him to transport the body. That's just standard. That's just covering your butt, and you got a high-profile prisoner, which I'm sure EMS is aware of. They're not going. Could you imagine if they just left him there? Then they'd be calling, EMS could have revived him, and they chose not to, so they're part of the scam. So
That's a good point. That's a good point. Thanks for the call, Patrick. Appreciate your professional insight there. Frank in Arlington Heights.
Hey, good morning. I don't know, did you guys talk about the hyoid bone being broken in 3 locations and the ligature mark? Because those, to me, are the most compelling evidence.
Yeah. Thanks for the setup, Frank. Appreciate that. They interviewed, the continuing interview with Dr. Baden. I say Potato. Baden.
It's Baden.
So he addressed the fractures as well as the ligature marks.
I have never seen 3 fractures like this in a suicidal hanging. Sometimes there's a fracture of the hyoid bone or a fracture of the thyroid cartilage.
But not 3.
Very unusual to have 2 and not 3. And going over 1,000 jail hangings, suicides in the New York City state prisons over the past 40, 50 years, no one had 3 fractures.
Now
and that's coming from the best in the business.
That's disputed by the state. That's possible that you could have those sorts of fractures in a suicide. It does happen, even if it's rare.
3?
I mean, by the way, the rarity of a suicide at the MCC in New York City, there hadn't been one in 14 years. But the guards were asleep at the switch,
or were they paid off, or was their coffee drugged?
Well, part of the frustration, particularly with respect to Epstein accusers, is how long the investigation is taking. 60 Minutes was reporting that the guard who found him, it was a male and a female guard, the male guard who found him still hasn't been interviewed by investigators. Wow. But they're both facing criminal charges, so of course they're not talking. Now, as to the ligature marks, Frank from Arlington Heights brought up, Baden addressed that.
What I see here is that this noose doesn't match the ligature furrow mark. It's wider than this.
To the naked eye, it looks like there's some blood here, and it doesn't look like there's any blood on this noose.
That's right. This looks like a clean noose that was never used to compress anybody's neck.
There's also something that's striking about the photos. The wound is down here. You'd think if somebody hung themselves, the wound would be maybe up here.
Yes. Most hangings, especially free hangings, the ligature slides up to beneath the jawbone, the mandible. Here it's in the middle of the neck.
Dr. Baden says a wound straight across the neck is more common when a victim is strangled by a wire or cord.
By the way, Free Hanging was the name of my college garage band, Spandau Ballet cover band. Killed with True. The other thing that's interesting about this, 60 Minutes reporting, if you thought he was suicidal, you wouldn't have given him a pen. You wouldn't have allowed to have a ballpoint pen in the cell, which he had, because he could injure himself.
And he didn't use it to injure himself.
Right.
Because he didn't kill himself.
Also, there was a sleep apnea machine in his jail cell that had electrical cord, so he could have used the cord. So why try to fashion a noose out of bedsheet when you have an electrical cord? Now, that's saying if you believed he was suicidal. Now, the flip side would be, well, we didn't believe he was suicidal, which is why we released him from the psych ward.
Right.
So I don't know that this probably prompts more questions than it answers, but it was just interesting to get more of a picture and some new information about his cell, the time, the issues, and also some professional opinions from criminal defense lawyers, from former wardens, that they don't think there's any chance this was a murder. They think he killed himself. And I don't think you're convinced.
I'm not convinced at all, but thank you for the argument.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson to talk about my incredible experience with Online Trading Academy. I signed up for my own free class, and you can too. You'll be introduced to skills to take control of your financial future. You'll learn the right moves to make when the economy turns and how to spend less time worrying about life and more time living it. You know, no one else will ever care about your financial future as much as you do. It's time for you to start learning how to invest in you. Seats are limited. Just call 844-778-7132 to attend and get 2 free passes to their next class so you can check this all out. And if you call right now, they will send you home with their Professionals Insider Kit. It's loaded with exclusive investing courses and some of their best lessons from the pros. This is a limited opportunity and seats go quickly, so call 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132, or visit them online at otaclass.com, otaclass.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
This is better than I expected. You guys, your customer service and everything, you guys are great. Yeah, you're the best company out there. And the commercials, you know, they talk about it, but a lot of times it's like, I don't know if it really gives it true justice of what this really is. People need to know. This is maybe the most amazing product I've ever tried. You can just feel the energy. It's so pure. It tastes so good. I'm just blown away by it. It's amazing.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and to make a difference this Christmas season.
We're talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program.
We've partnered with Food for the Poor to feed thousands of families fleeing from the socialist crisis in Venezuela. These families are now in Colombia and are desperate. Food for the Poor is working with local partners at feeding sites to make sure these families survive.
And your business can be a part of the solution. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. When you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air right here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Netkowski at 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951. One more time, the number 847-472-8951. 8951.
Tired of your winter routine? Escape during Apple Vacation's Great Winter Event and save up to $400 on your next vacation. Bask in unlimited luxury at Now Resorts and Spas in Mexico and the Caribbean. Book now and up to 2 kids stay free. Plus enjoy resort coupons and more great winter event extras at Now Resorts and Spas. Affordable choices, endless adventures. Apple Vacations. Contact Carey Travel Express or visit careytravelexpress.com to book today. Valid at participating resorts when booked by January 31st for travel through October 2020. Restrictions apply.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we were talking about 60 Minutes feeding the Epstein didn't kill himself memes and theories. Tony on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, my Lammy Lamb. Hey, Dan, I don't know if you're just cerebral or if even a blind squirrel picks up a nut, but when you said that the name of your high school cover band was your Spandau Ballet cover band was called Free Hanging, that's pretty funny because the prison in Germany where they get the term Spandau Ballet was where people got hung.
That's right.
Did you think of that, or is that just like something that...
Yes, I know that.
Oh, you actually spent...
I know. No, I mean, that's where Nazi war criminals were hung.
Right.
Yes, right. That's the name of the band, thus the relevance to the Epstein. You see how I make those connections, Tony? That's why you listen to this show.
He's brilliant,
Absolutely.
Tony.
Love you guys.
Thanks for the call, Tony. Dennis Miller is gone, so those kind of arcane references went with him until I came along.
Right. Got a new sheriff in town.
That's right.
Sure. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We have a bit of announcement. Our friend Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator and Trump Hispanic Advisory Council member, joins us at 6:36 with that announcement.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom for news here at home and around the world. Here is the one and only Mike Scott. Good morning,
Amy,
Mike.
good morning. And Dan, good morning as well. 28 degrees, fair skies. NATO ambassadors in Brussels today for an urgent meeting, they say, over building tensions in the Middle East after the U.S. killed Iran's top military leader. Iran is abandoning limits of the 2015 nuclear deal it struck with several countries, including the United States. Fox's Simon Owen is monitoring the whole situation for us in London this morning.
Hundreds of thousands of mourners on the streets in Iran's capital, Tehran, for the funeral of General Qasem Soleimani. Supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei weeping as he led prayers. Soleimani's daughter also addressing funeral crowds, threatening an attack on U.S. troops. Zainab Soleimani saying the families of American soldiers in Western Asia will spend their days waiting for the death of their loved ones. The general's successor also promising revenge. Simon Owen, Fox News.
Disgraced Hollywood executive Harvey Weinstein goes on trial today on 5 sex crime charges. Drug traffickers killed a 13-year-old Oklahoma boy, injuring his parents and another child in Mexico over the weekend. The boy and his family were on their way back from a holiday vacation. They were attacked just south of the Texas-Mexico border on Saturday. Renee Zellweger, Best Actress Golden Globes Award winner for her portrayal of Judy Garland. The British World War I film, 1917, awarded Best Drama Picture and Best Director last night. 2 teenagers have been charged in connection with the December 29 attack on a Chicago CTA train. The girls, 15 and 16, surrendered after they saw their images posted on an alert issued by police. Authorities are investigating after a 9-month-old baby boy was found beaten to death on Chicago's southwest side. Josue Suarez was found unresponsive late Saturday night in an apartment building near 60th and Sacramento. One of 5 police officers wounded last year in a workplace shooting that left 5 dead is retiring from the Aurora Police Department. Officer James Zegar was among a group of officers that entered the Henry Pratt warehouse on February 15. He was shot in the neck outside of that warehouse. Blackhawks over the Red Wings 4-2. Bulls and Mavericks on the docket tonight. Last night in college hoops in the Big Ten, Fighting Illini blow out Purdue at State Farm Center 63-37. The news service of Indeed.com. You only want to use the best route to drive across town, so do the same when you need to hire. Indeed provides hiring managers the straightest path to the best new employees. It will help you see beyond the resume. Post your next job at Indeed.com/hire. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is all in.
I am one of the few who's never wavered in my support of Donald Trump. It's real simple. When you know that the alternative to Donald Trump is unthinkable in terms of our nation's economy, our military, our sovereignty, our borders, this is an easy call. This hasn't been hard for me.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson with a great way to start the new year. Get your best night's sleep ever with a MyPillow and a set of those new Giza cotton sheets from MyPillow. And you can still receive your second set of sheets for free. 2 for $1. Plus, you'll get free shipping. And if you add anything else to your order, like MyPillows, mattress toppers, the new MyPillow towels, anything, those items will ship free too. And you can still get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, but you have to use the promo code Amy. You know, I just started sleeping with brand new Giza cotton sheets, and I'm sleeping so much better. Plus, the new MyPillow towels are extremely soft and absorbent. And all products have a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. So go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special box and get 2 sets of Giza cotton sheets for the price of 1 plus free shipping on your entire order. That's MyPillow.com. Click the radio specials box and enter promo code Amy. Or call 800-489-0201. 800-489-0201. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I was having a hard time breathing. It was hard for me to put one foot in front of the other. It was just awful. I feel 100% better. I mean, I can breathe. I don't feel that weight on my chest anymore. My head feels clearer, and my husband can tell that I seem more up about things. The fact that I feel better and my husband can tell my head is better, I'm just like singing from the rooftops about that.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com.
6:36 AM 560 traffic center time, and Jim.
Monday morning traffic's not too bad so far. Inbound Edens, you're looking at a 2 or 3 minute delay before Cicero Road at the junction. Outbound, it's clear. Inbound Kennedy, looking at about 24 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26, traffic is congested on 190 westbound going into the airport. Inbound Eisenhower delay started First Avenue. 34 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. Stevenson, 39 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, 90 to the merge. Ford about the same. Tollways are really light this morning. No problem to report in northwest Indiana. Now, the outbound Eisenhower ramp to the outbound Kennedy is now closed for long-term restructuring. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds and sun, high 42 today, cloudy and 27 overnight. It is currently 28. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
President Trump on Friday explaining his decision to take out Iranian General Soleimani.
We took action last night to stop a war. We did not take action to start a war.
That's not what Comrade Bernie Sanders is saying over the weekend on the trail.
Yesterday, President Trump ordered the assassination of a top Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani, in Iraq, along with the leader of an Iraqi militia. This is a dangerous escalation that brings us closer to another disastrous war in the Middle East.
And he went on to say, too, that it was an assassination, which Michael Bloomberg was quick to point out, no, it was not. And even Vice President Biden seemed to point that out, too, like this was not what you think it is.
Well, there's a divided opinion because Elizabeth Warren danced around the assassination word with Jake Tapper.
It's good to be here.
So you called the U.S. attack that killed Qasem Soleimani a, quote, assassination. President Ford issued an executive order in 76 to make political assassinations illegal. Are you saying that this strike was a violation of law?
Look,
It was a targeted attack on a government official, a high-ranking military official for the government of Iran. And what it's done has moved this country closer to war.
I'm sorry for your loss, Bernie and Elizabeth. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Steve Cortez, CNN political commentator, Trump Hispanic Advisory Council member, and now
wait, we need a drum roll. Drum roll.
Now,
it's a big announcement this morning.
Now, wait for it.
You
wait for it.
Although it's already in the Chicago Tribune, but keep waiting.
Keep waiting. This is not official until I say so.
Okay.
I can end this right here.
Zip.
Now he is the host on this very radio station of the Steve Cortez Show, 5 to 7 p.m.
Wait, you mean he's not hosting the Dan Proft Show?
He's not, yes.
How did you come up with that title?
Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it took a lot of focus groups, and they came back and they said the Steve Cortez Show is going to work, so we're running with it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
You start tonight.
I start tonight. Tonight is the inaugural episode of the broadcast of the Steve Cortez Show. We're going to have fantastic guests, including Steve Bannon. We're going to be talking about this situation, of course, in the Middle East. We're also going to be talking a lot about media bias. And when I say media, I don't mean just the news media, but also the entertainment media and Ricky Gervais. So I think we'll have an entertaining show tonight and for many, many nights and hopefully years to come. I am a little worried, Dan, that I've heard about the pledgeship program at WIND, and I hope that the hazing will be reasonable for a newbie like me at the station.
What you guys do in the men's locker room?
No.
None of my business.
No, you're going to have to talk to Amy about that. She's the Greek person at Iowa. I was a GDI. Yeah, I was a GDI at Northwestern, so you'll have to bring that up with Amy Jacobson. I can't help you there, Steve.
Understood. But no, listen, looking forward to it, and I've had a wonderful time as a substitute host, and really excited for the show. And I hope to be a voice for the deplorables and a champion of American nationalism. And in this election year, there's so much going on right now in the Middle East that right this minute it's hard to lose sight, or it's easy to lose sight rather, of the election and impeachment. But we have so much going on in 2020 that I think it's going to be an incredible news year, and I'm anxious to use my relationships with the president and the White House and the campaign to enlighten, I hope, the audience on the actual happenings and give them the truth about what is going on in 2020 rather than the spin that they hear far too often from corporate media.
Now, are you going to do anything fun, like have recipes or like a handicap harness racing or something just to mix it up a bit?
Yes, listen, I do think it's important. Man cannot live on bread alone, can't live on politics alone. So it's going to be important to talk about the cultural issues, and we will certainly have some fun with it, particularly on Fridays. I really want on Fridays to, at times, as much as possible, take a break from politics and talk about other issues which are relevant to people's lives. And in seriousness, too, getting away from pure politics, but matters of the culture war. I think that politics are an important part of culture, but of course it's not the only part of culture. And I hope that this show will be a platform where people can express their views and learn about what's going on in the culture war in this country. So we'll hopefully have some fun, learn, grow, become more prosperous people, more patriotic Americans together through this show.
Now, I wanted to see if I can get you into a bit of controversy right out of the gate. Tucker Carlson said Trump loyalists like you shouldn't be beating their chests about the elimination of General Soleimani. This is so much of the neoconism that we're supposed to be walking away from in the Trump era.
Right. Now, listen, I think Tucker makes really valid points. I don't agree with him here, although that's rare for me. I normally do agree with Tucker Carlson, and I think this is a time for nuance, which I know is something that's sorely lacking in general in our political sphere today, and certainly in the punditry business. What I do on television, there's not enough nuance. But I think there's a nuanced position right now, at least mine, I hope is. And what I mean by that is this, that the killing, the strike against Soleimani was completely justified and correct. He was a combatant in the theater, and we had not only the right to kill him, I would argue really the obligation, quite frankly, to kill him to protect Americans and American interests. Having said that, though, I'm one who I would agree with Tucker on this point. I wish we weren't in that theater at all. Mm-hmm. I think that the war, now Trump inherited this situation, an awful situation. Wars of adventure have been disastrous for this country. We have lost far too many precious lives. We have lost too much treasure engaging in in nation building and in really a Pollyanna type philosophy that says that we can turn countries into American-style democracy. So I praise the president for, in general, pulling back from that and pulling back hard from that trend, that unfortunate trend that the last two presidents, and look, I think our failures on this score were bipartisan over the last two presidencies. So I think he was correct to strike back at Soleimani. And again, it was striking back. They drew first blood, so it's striking back. But it would be totally inconsistent with his philosophy and bad for America if we were to engage in all-out war. No invasions, no nation building, but I believe we can do both. I think we can protect American interests with surgical strikes, as we did with Baghdadi, as we did now with Soleimani. I think we can do that without then taking that huge leap into full-scale invasion.
And what about advance warning? I mean, Israel was given advance warning. Lindsey Graham knew about it because he had golfed with President Trump a week before. But what about key European allies who have troops in the region? They were not given any advanced warning.
Right. No, listen, people who have soldiers and troops at risk in the region, I think that was probably a mistake. And I hope that was just an oversight and not purposeful to not notify them, because I do think that, if they're willing to risk lives for this cause. And again, I wish that we weren't there. I mean, so I want to make that clear. I don't believe that we should be there. I think the fact that Iraq, among the Iraqi people, that there is significant, it's certainly not majority, but there is significant support for Iran. To me, that reality, and we have seen that highlighted by this killing of Soleimani, the fact that there is significant support for the Iranian regime within Iraq, a country where we have spent trillions of dollars and lost thousands of soldiers, to me, that has proved positive that this was a foolhardy mission. We never should have invaded in the first place. We don't belong there now in the capacity or to the extent that we're there now. However, people are on the ground and are risking their lives, both Americans and other NATO allied people. And given that reality, when we're attacked or threatened, we have to strike back. And I think it would have been prudent to inform allies of what was coming.
Well, then, but if we're not there and you allow Iraq to become a proxy state of Iran, a situation that has deteriorated since Obama's abrupt pullout in 2011, obviously, then that's destabilizing in the region, including to our friends in Israel, isn't it?
Potentially, yes. And look, but I'm not saying do nothing, sir. I'm not, hardly. Look, I think Iran is a country, an aggressor that needs to be countered. To me, the way to counter them, though, is far greater sanctions. And what I really mean by that is the United States has done about all we can do, quite frankly, in terms of economic sanctions. The way to really isolate Iran is to get China to isolate Iran. And you might say, well, we can't tell China what to do. Well, in many ways we can if we want to. If we're really willing to go to the mat on trade with China, we can get China to stop purchasing oil from Iran. China clearly views Iran as a critical part of its global campaign to achieve domination over the United States. And China desperately needs Iran as a supplier of petroleum. And so to me, these two issues are intricately linked, and not enough people see that reality, I think, of Iran and China. If we truly isolate Iran economically and make them completely an island in the world of trade and necessitate and force really an all-out blockade almost of their oil export, that to me is far more effective than U.S. troops in the region risking American lives in a country like Iraq, which doesn't even want us there in the first place. So I agree that Iran needs to be countered. I just think there are much better ways to do it than with American troops.
One little additional topic that you can sort of tease here for your show
oh my gosh,
tonight
he's
at 5.
Producing the Steve Cortez
Well, I'm
show.
trying to help.
He can't help himself.
I'm trying to help. He's a newbie. I'm trying to be collegial. Yeah, collegial.
Okay, yeah. What's your
so you got Bannon on tonight? You said on your show tonight. Bannon has said that the impeachment trial will be the trial of the century. The century is relatively young, but still, it better not be the trial of the century. If it's the trial of the century, isn't Trump and Senate Republicans, aren't they doing something wrong? What's your perspective on what Mitch McConnell, the tack Mitch McConnell should take?
Right. Well, listen, we'll ask him about that tonight. I will. But I believe what he means by that, from what I've read previously, his statements, is what he means by the trial of the century is not that because the trial of Donald Trump, per se, will be the trial of the century, but because what we will do is shine a very bright light on really the dreadful and reprehensible behavior of the Obama DOJ as it relates to spying on the Trump campaign up until the election and trying to delegitimize President-elect Trump during the transition period. So I think that to me is also the reason why I do want a full trial. And I know Mitch McConnell thinks it's better to not call witnesses, to expeditiously get rid of this process because there's no merit to the charges. And I agree that there's no merit to the charges. However, given that we've already come this far in this process that I think is a sham inquest rather than a real impeachment, rather than a constitutional process, but given that we've come this far, in my view, it is now important for the American people that the shenanigans and the abuses, and I would argue crimes, in fact, of the Obama national security apparatus and DOJ deserve the full light of day. And we can bring much of that out in a full Senate trial. And if that happens, then we are talking about the trial of the century. And if it happens to occur concurrently with perhaps or immediately preceding the results of the Durham investigation, U.S. Attorney Durham up in Connecticut, which I believe, I've never been a believer that the IG report would give us much, and it didn't. I mean, I think there were some damning revelations, but on the whole, it was like a lot of IG reports where the swamp to some degree protects its own. I think the Durham inquiry could be far more damning for people like Comey, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, some of the absolute top echelon of the Obama DOJ and Obama national security apparatus, who I believe at the least committed highly unethical acts and perhaps even criminal acts in trying to counter candidate Donald Trump and President-elect Donald Trump.
He is Steve Cortes. The show debuts at 5 p.m. tonight. You can get Stimulating Conversation, more of his insights starting at 5 p.m.
Yeah,
tonight.
and you can learn more about Steve at 560theanswer.com/Steve Cortes, or follow the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Cortes, or if that's not enough, go on Twitter at Cortes Steve.
Yeah, Steve Cortes, Steve Cortes. Cortes. Marsha. Steve Cortes, congratulations again on the show. Yes. Happy to have you on board the team here at AM 560, and thanks for joining us this morning.
You bet. Very excited. Thank you.
Thank you, and he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. The Fed sees little risk of a recession. Trump administration putting the brakes on exports of artificial intelligence, and pickup truck sales look rosy. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Dennis Prager. There are over 400 programs in the Prager store, and now by becoming a Pragertopia Unlimited member, you can listen to every program in the store. Courses, lectures, show segments, even my Torah teachings. Almost everything I've ever recorded over the last 20 years, over 1,000 hours of program. Of course, Pragertopia Unlimited members get every radio show since 2009 as well. All commercial-free on demand. Wow. No, this is a big deal. This is truly a big deal, if I'm allowed to say that about my own work. For a limited time, it's only $119 for an entire year to join Pragertopia Unlimited. Get to listen to every show in the Prager store, every lecture I've given, every course. And you'll get a coupon for 50% off the Rational Bible, Genesis, which is autographed. I put my life into these works. They're meant to change your life, open up your mind, and they make a spectacular gift. Go to Pragertopia.com and sign up. Pragertopia Unlimited.
In written minutes from its last policy meeting, the Federal Reserve indicates it sees little risk of any recession in the near term. The Fed minutes also show that officials support keeping interest rates at their current low range, partly because of the slowing global economy. America's automakers expect 2020 will be another banner year for pickup truck sales, even as sales of passenger cars continue to ebb. Car makers are focusing more on the sale of pickups and SUVs, which are more profitable and have become more popular as gas prices have fallen. Under a new rule going into effect today, the Trump administration will make it more difficult to export artificial intelligence software. The aim is to keep technology away from rival powers like China. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation.
one with the framework of integrity and tradition. Chapel Design Build delivers just that, providing design build and general contracting services using Butler Steel Building Systems. Their projects dot the landscape from O'Hare to DeKalb. You see their work in office and warehouse additions, recreational facilities, large-scale distribution centers, and manufacturing plants all over northern Illinois. Partnering with Butler Steel Buildings, Chapel Design Build has developed an extensive subcontractor base and valuable market knowledge to get your quality-built project completed on time and on budget, ensuring your project is a success for your business and one that you will be proud of for years to come. The goal is to build lasting relationships with their clients using buildings that last from Butler. Get started on your next building project built with Butler Steel. Visit chapeldb.com. That's Chapel D as in design, B as in build.com.
This is Attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649. or go to freeirsbook.com.
In 2019, Illinois became the abortion capital of the Midwest. But what are you going to do about it? Join thousands at the largest pro-life event in the Midwest, Saturday, January 11th at the March for Life Chicago. Hear from keynote speaker and abortion survivor Claire Caldwell, the Chicago Bears' Pat McCaskey, Cardinal Supich, and many other pro-life leaders. Check out new and expanded events all day, including the convention at the Congress Plaza Hotel, a youth rally, the March for Life rally and March at Daly Plaza, a dinner banquet, even swing dancing into the night. Purchase your tickets to the banquet and cocktail hour, sign up for a free fast pass to the convention, and find out more at marchforlifechicago.org. The 2020 March for Life Chicago theme is Life Empowers, Pro-Life is Pro-Woman. The voiceless need a voice. March for babies, march for women, march for life. Visit marchforlifechicago.org today. That's marchforlifechicago.org.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, what would you give up for a year in order to get in shape?
Dan, I think I should be asking you that question.
Oh, ouch.
You should not be asking me that question.
Ouch.
Because I do this thing. I go to this thing called a Gym.
Freeletics, a fitness coaching app. 30% of Americans say, out of the 2,000 Americans they surveyed.
Alcohol.
Not survey says not in the top 3. 30% of Americans would give up sex for an entire year if it meant they could immediately fit their fitness goals.
They say that. They don't mean it, but
25% of respondents said they'd spend a week in jail to instantly achieve their fitness goals.
Well, I'd spend a week in jail so I could read a book. Okay, go on.
24% said they'd stand in line at the DMV for an entire day.
Well, that's called trying to get your driver's license in Chicago. Okay.
The whole thing, I love the what would you do if I could just get instant gratification? Here's the idea. Rather than spending a year or spending an entire day at the DMV or spending that much time or spending a week in jail, why don't you just go to the gym? Or why don't you go outside and walk around?
Yeah, even if it's cold outside, walk around.
Yeah.
Dan,
what's
your exercise regimen? Or maybe, oh, wait, we're out of time.
Standing in line at the DMV.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk Iran and ask Roger Kimball, is 2020 the left's Flight 93 election? That's at 7:07.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Chicago-based Boeing reporting new problems with the 737 MAX. There's a new rideshare tax that goes into effect today in Chicago. Chicago couple is suing the stars of the show Windy City Rehab. Bears Kyle Long set for retirement. WIND Chicago News Time 7.
Another day of mourning in Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After the U.S. airstrike in Iraq that took out a top Iranian general.
Many Iranians did take to the streets today for another funeral for Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. That funeral being held across the streets of Tehran. The replacement for Soleimani, Ismail Qani, says Iran will fight to get the U.S. out of Iraq and has also vowed to hit American forces in the region.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Baghdad. Democrats were critical of the airstrike and of the president warning that more may be to come. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, in a tweet, President Trump is threatening to strike 52 sites, some with cultural significance to Iran. The president claims his tweets serve as official notice to Congress, but Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen told Fox News Sunday,
the president is not entitled under the Constitution to continue this escalation.
Democrats will introduce a war powers resolution this week that would force the president to stop military action within 30 days. This as Democratic leaders in the Senate call on the president to declassify the White House notification to Congress of the initiation of hostilities against Iran. Dave?
Rachel, Congress will have its first full week of the year. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi still yet to give the Senate the articles of impeachment accusing the president of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
The Senate has to act. We've got to say, send us these articles or we're moving on without you.
Republican Senator Josh Hawley will introduce a resolution today to allow the Senate to dismiss the impeachment case. Democrats are insisting on a fair trial, wanting 4 witnesses who refused to testify in the House inquiry. The Hollywood Foreign Press handed out the Golden Globes last night on NBC. 1917, a big winner.
Thank you so much. This is a huge thing. This is a huge thing for this movie. It opens in a week wide.
Sam Mendes won Best Director, and 1917 won Best Drama. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood won the Golden Globe for Best Comedy or Musical Movie. America's listening to Fox News.
Skies are fair this morning. 28 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago-based Boeing reporting more problems with its grounded 737 MAX jetliner. The FAA has been told by the company they're trying to determine if wiring that controls the plane's tail could short circuit, possibly causing a crash. The 737 MAX has been grounded around the world since last March. 2 teens have been charged in connection with a December 29 unprovoked attack on a CTA train. Chicago police say the girls ages 15 and 16 have surrendered after they saw their images posted on an alert issued by police. Other suspects remain at large. 2 men are dead, 2 others wounded following another Chicago mass shooting. 3 men were standing yesterday near 100th Street and South Avenue M when 2 males jumped out of a vehicle that pulled up and fired shots at all 3. One of the 3 victims on the street pulled his own weapon, returning fire, killing one of the 2 gunmen. A man is dead, his girlfriend seriously hurt in a house fire in Maywood. Blaze started early yesterday in a home in the 100 block of South 9th Avenue. Cedric Brown was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead. His girlfriend remains in critical condition. Fire officials say there were no smoke detectors in that first-floor apartment. Blackhawks 4-2 winners over the Red Wings at the UC. Bulls visiting the Mavericks tonight. College hoops in the Big Ten. Fighting Illini blow out Purdue at State Farm Center. The news service of Mattress Firm. It's the year-end sale at Mattress Firm through Tuesday. Save up to $600 when you get a king mattress for the price of a queen or a queen for the price of a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with your $4.99 purchase. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you own or run a thriving business in the Chicagoland area? Have you overcome obstacles to make your business what it is today? If that's your business, then AM 560 The Answer wants to tell your story on the AM 560 Business Tour 2020, presented by Signature Bank. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses all around Chicagoland, telling the stories of thriving, successful businesses. If that's you, tell us about it. Go to bankbusinesstour.com and submit your information. That's bankbusinesstour.com.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Paging Brenda Lawson, bank account number 0040891, report to gate 6.
Data breaches are on the rise, which means your personal info is practically being broadcast to identity thieves. Good thing there's LifeLock to help protect your identity. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps look out for you, whether or not your information is exposed in a breach. Save up to 25% off your first year using promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Tell me if this is you. There's an outdoor project that you've been wanting to get done, but you just don't have the time or patience to deal with unprofessional contractors. It's a common theme of frustration. You need AM Woodland Outdoor Design for a professional design and a team that will show up on time to get the job done. They'll even let you know throughout the project how everything's going. Imagine that. When you're ready to liven up your curb appeal or completely redesign your outdoor living space, the perfect solution? AM Woodland Design. With so many landscape contractor options to choose from, use a team that shares your values of hard work, honesty, integrity, and patriotism. AM Woodland Outdoor Design proudly sponsors Food for the Poor as a business benefactor and would be honored to work with you.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples.
7:06 AM 560 Traffic Center time and Jim Telemonte.
Eden's inbound delays start before Cicero. It's about 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. About Kennedy, about 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 35 with a crash reported past Lawrence. Inbound Eisenhower, 39 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 34. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, 90 to the merge. Bishop 422. Westbound Lakeshore Drive, it's heavy at the north end. Bryn Mawr to Hollywood. Northbound Tri-State at Stop and Go. Roosevelt Road to the Eisenhower. The other tollways still look good. No delays to report now on I-80. No delays to report in Northwest Indiana. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, partly cloudy skies, the high at 42. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight, low 27. Clouds tomorrow, the high 39. And then partly sunny for Wednesday, the high at 28. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
28 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You remember the piece by Publius Decius Mus in 2016 Later, we found out that was Michael Anton writing in the Claremont Review of Books that 2016 was the Flight 93 election for conservatives. It was going to be the last stand for anything resembling cultural conservative values, really founding values being present in American culture. Jared Baker over at the Wall Street Journal has a fun piece that where he sort of channels Tom Wolfe from Radical Chic, talking about a party he attended just before Christmas with all the who's who of elites in New York City. He writes, there were titans of Wall Street, giants of the media, former political figures now earning an honest $1 million or $9 million at private equity firms, men and women who answer to that oxymoronic description of public intellectuals, grand dames of the Manhattan salons whose accumulated Botox bills would pay down the public debt of one of the more dynamic emerging market countries.
Oh, ouch.
This is fantastic. It's really, I told you, he's channeling Radical Chic. He talked about how the mood was rather grim, even though the party was decorous. The elite, as he writes, leaning on each other for comfort because of populism, nationalism, Trump, and Boris. He writes, for the liberals who dominate the media, the academy, or our permanent government, and many of corporate America's C-suites, 2020 is shaping up to be their Flight 93 election. To listen to the Democrat candidates, if Mr. Trump is reelected in November, it will be the end. This is their last chance to avert the Gotterdammerung of a second Trump administration. Wonderful Wagner reference, too. I appreciate that. And he continues to lampoon them, noting that it's an odd sort of populist revolution that they reject, insofar as not only has it left the paradigm in place, but it's actually enriched the guarantors of it. But the real issue, he concludes, is not the livelihoods or even their power that these elites risk losing. It's their relevance. In elevating voices other than theirs, voices ignored for decades in the national conversation, it will make them seem less relevant. That's something they really fear, their lack of relevance. Very insightful piece. For more on the topic, as well as a discussion of Iran, we're pleased to be joined again by Roger Kimball, editor of The New Criterion, contributor to amgreatness.com as well. Roger, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
What about what Jared Baker suggests that for leftist elites, and I repeat myself, 2020 is their Flight 93 election?
Yes, I think that that's correct, and they've been trying to storm the cockpit for the last 3 years, but to no avail. I suppose the limits of the analogy are that the plane is on course and it has not been hijacked by a nefarious mass murdering crew, but rather is the airplane has been retaken by the good guys. Not that the never Trumpers are necessarily bad guys. It's just that I think Jerry Baker got it exactly right, that they're terrified by the prospect of their permanent exile from the corridors of power. Let's face it, people like Bill Kristol had been wont to think of himself as a sort of power behind the throne, someone who's, it is true, his political prognostications had the perhaps unmatched virtue of being always wrong. I can't think of a single political prediction that he made that was correct. Everybody gets some of them wrong, but he got them all wrong, which is a kind of distinction. And his judgment, in retrospect, when we see his desire to put forward Evan McMullin or David French as a presidential candidate to stand against Trump, it seems sort of sad and risible now.
Yes.
But it's a kind of Wizard of Oz moment when we, where there's all of this Sturm und Drang, and where you look behind the curtain, and there are these little men and women, Jennifer Rubins and Bill Kristols and Max Boots, scurrying around, little homunculi, screaming, but to no avail. Nobody really pays them any attention, and the only reason that they have any audience at all is because of the left. The left is perfectly happy to give people like Max Boot a platform because they can say, well, see, here's a conservative who is beating up on President Trump and his supporters. But of course, he's not a conservative. He's a kind of exiled erstwhile conservative.
Speaking of the politically promiscuous elites, Michael Bloomberg, he spent his way into third place in some of the national polling. That doesn't necessarily mean he's registering in the early states. It's reminiscent of Rudy Giuliani's run for president. You actually have to win some caucuses and primaries, so we'll see what he can do at some point. But do you? It seems to me like he may be the white knight for this elite that Jared Baker writes about in the Journal, and I wonder if you think there's the possibility that he can buy his way to relevance in the race.
Well, possibility is cheap. I mean, anything I suppose is possible. Is it likely that Michael Bloomberg would be the candidate? No, I think it's vanishingly unlikely. Millions and hundreds of millions of dollars do buy you a certain amount of attention. They certainly will buy you the prostituted services of consultants who are eager to take your dollars. But Mike Bloomberg is not going to be the candidate. I suppose it's possible that he could be a third-party candidate, but then that would just assure the greater margin of President Trump's victory. It's a kind of, to me, it's a sort of little distraction. I don't think that he is. I don't think that it's going to happen.
Well, speaking of Democratic candidates, which Democratic candidate do you think has the best judgment on foreign policy? If there is one. Because you have
that's a tough one.
It's one of those.
Because they're showing their true colors right now with this, the killing of the Iranian leader, and I don't know if I from an assassination to, well, maybe it was justified to now we're starting World War III.
A related question, Roger. What's the tallest skyscraper in Wichita? Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's I don't know. That's a very hard question. Which of the Democratic candidates has the best judgment about foreign? I suppose you'd have to say Joe Biden, but
wow.
once you've said that, what have you said? It's pretty sad, isn't it?
The man who Bob Gates said has been wrong about every foreign policy decision he's ever made for 30 years. That's your best foot forward.
Mayor Pete served.
I suppose he is still the front runner in a way. I've said all along I didn't think he was going to be the candidate, and given his adventures and his son's adventures in Ukraine, China, and elsewhere, I think that's even more the case now that he will not be the candidate, but he might. I think actually, things change by the day. At the moment, it looks to me like Bernie Sanders is sort of surging. I'm not quite sure whether the instinct for self-preservation has been entirely bred out of the Democratic Party, but if it has, then Bernie, a declared socialist, somebody who says he wants to put the executives of the fossil fuel industry in jail. For what? For what crime? Well, for the crime of being politically incorrect, I guess. It's insane. It's conceivable that he could be the nominee, but it would be good for President Trump. That's for sure.
Speaking of Comrade Bernie, he called the elimination of General Soleimani a political assassination, as did Warren, as has much of the left. It's It's reckless. It's a stick of dynamite and a tinderbox. It's World War III. We're going to reinstitute the draft. You wrote a piece at amgreatness.com about an antidote for the Iranian hysterics. What is that antidote?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to back up, Soleimani was a mass murderer. His elimination was a public service. It's in a way no different from what Ronald Reagan did when he bombed Libya. His intention was to kill Muammar Gaddafi. He bombed his house. Why? Because there had been a bombing in a discotheque in Berlin, in which several people were killed, scores injured. Among those killed were 2 Americans, and Ronald Reagan said this will not stand. And President Trump is not a hawk. He much prefers diplomacy to military action, and he in fact was criticized by many for not taking a stronger stance after the Iranians shot down a drone. But killing Americans is a red line in the sand for him, as he showed. Soleimani is responsible for the deaths of hundreds and hundreds of Americans and scores of thousands of Syrians. The idea that, as the Washington Post put it, that he was a revered figure is preposterous. The Iranians themselves, the people of Iran, who were subject to his to his methods, are celebrating his death. Not the mullahs, but the protesters, the people who were protesting against the regime, against whom he brought the force of his police state. They were celebrating. So it's totally justified, and Iran is not in a position to institute World War III or even a game of cops and robbers.
And now we're subjected to the indignity, courtesy of the Beltway Big Government Press Corps, of taking the Potemkin funeral service for the general. We're supposed to take that just as Iran is presenting it as a nation mourns kind of bull jive. It's really amazing to see Iranian propaganda amplified by American press.
Yeah, so you expect the Iranians to do that, and I expect the mullahs to jump up and down and scream death to America, as they've been doing for the last 30 years.
But the Iranian parliament was doing it.
Yeah, that's the playbook. I mean, what is disappointing is the fact that so much of the American media, the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, and on, that they should take up this chant as well. That is disappointing. I think this is going to be a little bit like the Israelis' bombing of the Iraqi nuclear plant. A lot of people criticized it at the time publicly, but privately they were very happy about it. One never knows, but I suspect this will blow over in a matter of days.
He is Roger Kimball. He's editor of The New Criterion, also a contributor to American Greatness, amgreatness.com. Roger, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hold fast!
The best picture of the year is 1917, raves Forbes magazine.
We've got orders to cross here. That is the German front line.
It's a soaring tribute to heroism that's both epic and intimate.
We need to keep moving!
The best war movie since Saving Private Ryan.
There's only one way this ends. Last man standing.
1917. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. Now playing in select theaters everywhere Friday.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1-Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Names matter. Your name, the name you've made for yourself, and the name of the company you represent. Because of you, their names people can trust. That's why at 4imprint, every name and logo is printed with certainty. We pay attention to every detail because we know the way your name appears is the way it's remembered. So you'll know for certain that every item, from the right apparel to the most popular tech items, will be right the first time, on time, every time, at a great price, guaranteed. Because when you have passion, integrity, and certainty, the only name they'll remember is yours. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4, imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonials based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. IRI US MULO 52 weeks 7/14/19 by UPC MLVO.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton. When I competed in gymnastics, I used to love to talk about my health, my energy, and my will to win gold. But today, I want to talk to you about something I used to keep private. My menopause. Between my hot flashes and night sweats, and worse, my constant fatigue, I felt like a stranger in my own life. Nothing I tried could give me relief until I discovered Amberen.
Amberen is clinically shown to relieve 12 menopause symptoms. Amberen is not a drug and is 100% estrogen-free and clinically tested.
Thanks to Amberen now, my energy is back, and those days of fearing hot flashes and night sweats are gone. I feel like myself again. Amberen works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine stores and see why Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I just want to tell you that I can't believe what this has done, and I've only been taking it for, a couple of months? I don't know. I got to the point where I was very discouraged, and my energy was down, and I tell you, my wife says this stuff is wonderful. I feel so much better. My attitude is different. My energy is good, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking with Roger Kimball about whether or not 2020 represents the Flight 93 quote-unquote election for the left, as it was argued 2016 did for conservatives. Anthony and Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. I'd just like to offer just a slightly different perspective. We know that Trump won only by a small margin in a few states. And so I think the Trump administration, barring some sort of tail event like a recession or something like that, a major recession, will be remembered as a blip on the kind of large demographic march of liberalism, because the United States lets in 1 million immigrants a year, 75% of which, thereabouts, vote Democrat. So unless something is done about the immigration situation, we're going to remember the 4 to 8 years of the Trump administration as just sort of a blip, and that unless something changes for a generation, you can kiss Republicans on the national level, not on the state level, on the national level, the presidency, goodbye. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Anthony. Yeah, I don't agree with that, and there's a lot of data that backs up my position. One of the things that people do is over-extrapolate from limited data. You're only looking at one piece of data rather than the gradations of it. So, for example, 1 million immigrants a year, right? And then over time, as we've been doing that for some time, first generation, has second generation, and second generation has third generation. And you know what happens? The political attitudes about immigration policy and about partisan affiliation change substantially in different demographic groups as you move from first to second to third generation. It is not inexorable that immigrants will, from the world over, will become state dependents and then become Democrat Party regulars. That is not an inevitable march in any way, shape, or form. I wanted to get to this other thing. Have you seen this? Courtney Friel, she's a former Fox News reporter.
Yeah, now works at KTLA in Los Angeles. Yeah.
She's got a book coming out. And in her book, she said when she worked at Fox and Friends, by the way,
a phone call.
The name of her memoir.
Well, her book is great. Tonight at 10, Kicking Booze and Breaking News.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
She shared in her book a interaction with Trump.
That happened over the phone, by the way.
Told her she was the hottest one at Fox News.
Oh, stop.
Called her office line a few weeks after she mentioned an interest in working as a judge in his Miss USA beauty pageant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be Trump or should I?
Couldn't be a judge, but he did ask about my career goals and complimented my work at Fox News. And then he said,
quote, do you want to do Trump or should I?
Go ahead.
You should come to my office sometime so we can kiss. Friel claims that she reminded him they were both married and quickly ended the call. That was a horrible Trump.
You were trying to impersonate Trump?
I don't know what that was.
Okay.
Besides 3 seconds of bad radio.
It sounds like it sounded more like the.
But I mean,
mooch.
she's making an issue of that.
Well, wait a second.
Come on.
You should come up to my office sometime so we can kiss. Who talks like that? If I'm not saying he didn't say it. If he did say it, rather than the reputation. No need to ask, he's a smooth operator. I mean, does this sound like?
No, it sounds like something Trump would say, though. He's being funny. Like, come on. Hey, honey, come to my office so we can kiss. You're the hottest one at Fox.
Isn't that weird? Who talks like that?
Our president? She said the proposition made it difficult for me to report with a straight face on Trump running for president.
She said
wrote in her book.
She said she responded, I believe we're both married, and then she ended the call.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, click.
I mean,
I don't know. Do you believe her?
I
don't even know who she was.
Is it possible that
come on up for a little
Courtney
quick
Friel's kiss was on Trump's list? I don't know. Maybe. Thanks, Hall & Oates. The only reason I talked about the story is so I could play 80 music drops.
This is a good song now. I'm going to have to download it. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk impeachment and Iran with John Nolte, editor-at-large at Breitbart, 737.
And later, did we just see Tom Brady play his last football game? But now let's head straight into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
28 degrees. Authorities in Puerto Rico are checking at this moment to see how much damage from an early morning earthquake might have done. The Geological Survey says it was a 5.8 magnitude quake centered about 8 miles from Indios on the island's southeast coast. Lawmakers will see details of a threat against Americans when they return to Washington this week. But for Senator Marco Rubio, he knows the decision to take out a top Iranian military commander was justified.
Iran was on the verge of scaling up the attacks that they were aiming against the United States, not just in Iraq, but in Syria as well. And the United States had to take action in order to prevent that from happening.
The primaries are fast approaching. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders holds a very narrow lead over former Vice President Joe Biden in the latest poll for the New Hampshire Democrat primary. It was a CBS poll released Sunday. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren far back in third place. A suspect in jail for the murder of a South Carolina police officer. The 26-year-old was fatally shot during a traffic stop Sunday. The historic Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is at risk of collapsing. The roof and spire was damaged in last April's fire. 2 men are dead and 2 others wounded following another Chicago mass shooting. 3 men were standing near 100th Street and South Avenue M when 2 males jumped out of a vehicle and opened fire. Authorities are investigating after a 9-month-old baby boy was beaten to death on Chicago's southwest side. Jose Suarez was found unresponsive Saturday night in an apartment building near 60th and Sacramento. This morning, DCFS is looking into that case, and no one is in custody. Hamilton's run in Chicago is over. The Broadway smash hit came to a close yesterday. Blackhawks beat the Red Wings 4-2. Bulls take on the Mavericks tonight. College hoops in the Big Ten, it was the Fighting Illini blowing out Purdue 63-37. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices. This week, all HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. Restrictions apply. Offer ends 1/11/20. See store or staples.com/ink savings. Staples. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Huatulco, Mexico. You'll stay at the Secrets Huatulco Resort and Spa from March 28th through April 4th. It's a beautiful, adults-only, unlimited luxury resort located on Conejos Bay. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. Presented by Joe Cotton Ford.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And if you're a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then listen up.
Once again, our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway to raise money to feed families fleeing from the socialist crisis in Venezuela. These families are now in Colombia and are starving. And our good friends at Food for the Poor are working with partners on the ground at feeding centers to make sure these families survive.
And here's how your business can be a part of the solution. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday to Friday at no additional cost to you.
Dan, that's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. Through the generosity of your business, you'll be helping 8 families. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Nakowski at 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951. One more time, 847-472-8951.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I love the products. I haven't had a cold since I've started. My grandkids get sick all the time, and I don't catch what they have. I'm going to be 68 tomorrow, and I'm in great shape, and I'm very grateful. I know the Balance of Nature, the simplicity of it and the purity of it has just been a tremendous blessing for me.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
7:37 on AM 560. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal 800-421-SCAL. And time to check the roads with Jim Telemonte.
Tri-State Tollway northbound 294. Traffic stop and go from Roosevelt Road to the Grand Avenue curve. There's a collision there blocking a center lane. Eden's inbound 20 minutes. Lake Cook Junction outbound 24. Inbound Kennedy. Delays started Foster. A crash at Kimball is now gone. We're looking at about 31 minutes, so here to downtown. No savings in the Express. Outbound 30 minutes downtown to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 42 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 35. Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Crash reported right at the Burns Circle. I-57, 19 minutes, siding to the Burns. Bishop 428. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds and sun today, a high of 42, currently 28. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Mike Pompeo on Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace over the weekend.
He made the rounds. He was on every single Sunday morning program.
He explained the context of the decision and ultimately the decision that was made.
You know, as for the activity today with respect to Iraq, we've been in their country. We've been supporting Iraqi sovereignty. We've been continuing to take down the terrorist threat against the Iraqi people. The prime minister is the resigned prime minister. He's the acting prime minister. He's under enormous threats from the very Iranian leadership that it is that we are pushing back against. We are confident that the Iraqi people want the United States to continue to be there to fight the counter-terror campaign, and we'll continue to do all the things we need to do to keep America safe.
That's in, of course, response to the Iraqi parliament voting to call for troop withdrawal, American troop withdrawal. Yeah. Of course, there are...
that's not going to happen.
There are, it's a parliament that's beholden to Iran. That's part of the problem. The situation that has the situation in Iraq has deteriorated since Obama's abrupt withdrawal in 2011. Such void it left that Iran has, to some extent, filled it. And, of course, this has been the 2 months, 3 months of peppering, and then a little bit more when an American contractor was killed with respect to Iran and taking out a drone and conflicts in the Strait of Hormuz, and then the attacks on the embassy, and, of course, the death of that U.S. contractor and injuring 4 soldiers. He was asked about the sort of the endless wars, the promise Trump made to get us out of endless wars, and isn't this putting us back into the mode of endless warring in the Middle East? Pompeo responded.
Endless wars are the direct result of weakness, and President Trump will never let that happen. We're going to get it right. We're going to get the force posture right. We're going to get our facilities as hardened as we can possibly get them to defend against what Iran may potentially do. But make no mistake, America's mission is to have our footprint in the Middle East reduced while still keeping America safe from rogue regimes like the Islamic Republic of Iran and from terrorist activity broadly throughout the region.
So is it fair to say that while the big strategy is to pull the U.S. out of endless wars, at least in the short term, there could be more of a commitment?
The Obama administration created enormous risk to the American people in Iran. This administration is working to reduce that risk.
And that was Trump's position as he explained it on Friday.
We took action last night to stop a war. We did not take action to start a war.
And he said that there were viable threats.
Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel, but we caught him in the act and terminated him.
Yeah, I mean, and ABC News was reporting, I don't know why, other media outlets aren't catching on to this, that one of the attacks was blowing up the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, Lebanon.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by John Nolte. He is editor-at-large at Breitbart, Breitbart.com. John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, pleasure. So, this is one of those issues that cuts across the political spectrum a bit. Obviously, it's hysterics on the left, political assassination, World War III, all that stuff. But even on the center right, you have libertarians and others who have cheered Trump's troop withdrawal from Syria, his call for troop drawdown in Afghanistan, who are concerned about deepening the engagement in the Middle East. Think, the Rand Paul caucus, if you will. How do you assess the decision-making and the communication of the basis for the decision by the administration?
Trump is in a very tough position, and I think that right now he's maintaining the situation in the way that the American people in general at large want the situation maintained. We can't not retaliate when Iran kills an American contractor or when Iran attacks flagrantly one of our embassies. We have to respond. At the same time, we do not want to see another Iraq and we certainly don't want to see another Libya. We don't want thousands of boots on the ground and nation building. So I think Trump is doing what he has to do, which is he's retaliating in a way. He's retaliating from the air, and he's letting Iran know that if you do this, there's going to be consequences, but you're not going to pull us into another stupid ground war that we wouldn't be able to win. So he's doing the best he can. It's a tough situation. It's a risky situation, but Iran is the one that's causing it. They're the ones doing these things. And given a bad situation, I'm very happy so far with the way that Trump is handling it. And I'm the last one who wants to see us get into a war with Iran.
Yeah, but was this the right and best way to take him out?
I think it was. I mean, it was legal. That's important that it's legal. He was in a war zone. They've called for war against us. They hit someone very high up, and I think there are two reasons this worked, in my opinion, or hopefully that it's going to work or that it was a good idea. Number one, Trump is totally unpredictable, and the media likes to declare him erratic and say he doesn't have a plan. But the fact that he's unpredictable scares the hell out of our enemies.
Okay.
The second thing is that right now, people in Iran know that they could be next. And I think that's another thing that's the best way to get them to de-escalate, because it's in their own personal best interest to de-escalate, because if they don't, they could be the next one hit by Trump, because he showed a willingness to do that. So I don't know what else. I mean, maybe there are better ideas, better things he could have done, but I think this was pretty smart for those two reasons.
So you're not concerned that he had 2 scoops of ice cream after he ordered the strike, which was apparently a big story for the D.C. press corps, that he went and had dinner and he had 2 scoops of ice cream. I guess if you're talking about what the president had for dinner after he ordered the strike, then you don't have much to say on the substance of the matter.
Yeah, and that was a CNN story. And, that's just another example of how the media continues to discredit themselves. And those stories used to make me angry, and now I like it. It's like when Hollywood spouts off. That's good for our side.
Yes.
It's good. If CNN wants to write stories, good. Please continue to do so, because all you're doing is discrediting yourself, and you're just proving that you're not a news organization. You just want to troll the president. And I love those stories. They're great for Breitbart because we publish them. They get 1 million hits. It's just that CNN has done more to help Trump and more to help our business model than any other organization out there.
Now, in other important geopolitical news, Joe Biden made a major announcement saying he supports 100%, which is the most you can support something, supports 100% a nationwide ban on plastic bags.
Yeah, obviously he's worried about his left flank, and this stuff is going to kill him in the general election. Mm-hmm. People like plastic bags. This may sound like hyperbole, but it's not. The decision for me to leave California was when they started putting a tax on plastic bags, and it wasn't because I didn't want to pay 5 cents a plastic bag. It was because I don't want to live in a state that is this nanny-driven, that is this controlling. And just unreasonable and stupid. And I just felt constricted. I could feel my freedoms being constricted. And Joe Biden, he's very worried about Iowa. He's very worried about New Hampshire. There's a 3-way tie in those states now, and they're going to matter a lot. And he's guarding his left flank with a lot of these sort of dumb statements, not sort of dumb, very dumb statements. And Trump, if he wins the nomination, Trump's going to pulverize him.
I know another state, by the way, that fits your description of California.
Chicago, you would be strangled by the taxes we have here.
And plastic bag bans in any state. Yes, right.
Reusable bags.
Yeah, and Chicago's my favorite city in the world. I love Chicago, but I would never live there. Never, ever live there.
Right. That's our new slogan. It's a nice place to visit. That's that's the most we can offer. So just to giving us a handle on the field, we just had a conversation with Roger Kimball about this, about Michael Bloomberg, spending his way into something approximating contention, and wondering if, as the field that has existed for the last several months continues to be measured and found wanting, if there really is an opportunity for Bloomberg to spend his way to the nomination. What's your thought?
I don't think Bloomberg is so much spending his way to the nomination. The money helps, but it's more along the lines of nobody's happy with the field. It reminds me of the Republican field in 2012, where we kept choosing different people, the Herman Cain era that lasted about 2 weeks. And then we liked the other guy, and then we liked the other guy, and then we liked the other guy. And that's what's happening in the Democratic Party right now. They loved Kamala Harris for a while, then they loved Elizabeth Warren, and Joe Biden's just kind of hanging in there like Mitt Romney did. And so I think that people are so unhappy that they can't find someone that a guy like Bloomberg, who's got enough money, is going to have a chance. I mean, Tom Steyer spent a ton of money, too. He hasn't really gotten anywhere. No. But Bloomberg did because he's got some governing experience. He's got some name recognition. But if the Democrats want to nominate him and lose the Midwest because Bloomberg is an anti-gun fanatic, I'm all for that.
Well, does he have any traction in South Carolina because he's going to sit out the Iowa caucuses and New Hampshire primary?
And debates.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see him winning the nomination because you're right. He's not that involved, really. He's just sort of spending money. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he's polling so well, that he's tied with Elizabeth Warren nationally, that just tells me how dissatisfied Democrats are with the field. I think that's the overall message there.
I want you to listen to something.
I still think Biden's going to win. I still think Biden's going to win the nomination.
I want you to listen to something that Trey Gowdy said the other day on Fox about the approach the White House and the Senate, Senator McConnell, should be taking with impeachment. Get your reaction.
If the vote were today, the president would win. So my advice to him is go with the defense team you got now, Cipollone, Radcliffe, Pam Bondi, Jay Sekulow, and then get to the vote as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. Don't inject any surprises or witnesses that you don't know what they're going to say. It's just not good in a trial for there to be a lot of surprises.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice, generally speaking. But, I mean, is it time or getting near time for McConnell to say we're going to vote our shares?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a long past time. And from the sounds of it, from what I'm hearing from various members of the Senate, Lindsey Graham, McConnell, and others, Pelosi's basically got a week to get her act together. And if she doesn't send the impeachment over to the Senate, if she doesn't stop with this idea of blackmailing them into holding the trial she wants, something's going to give, because the Senate's just not going to allow this to hold over the president, especially with everything that's going on in Iran. So, yeah, they need to move as quickly as possible. The whole thing's a farce. Everybody knows it. And the last poll I showed, almost 60% of the American people believe that Pelosi needs to stop playing these games and send the impeachment articles over. So time is not on the side of the Democrats, but they're in such a bad position now that all they can do is make bad decisions.
John Nolte, editor-at-large at Breitbart, Breitbart.com. John, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
The American economy remains strong, and both business owners and employees are enjoying the benefits. Here at AM 560, we want to celebrate the businesses that are thriving. Are you a business owner who is part of this great American success story? If so, we want to hear from you. Once again, we're taking the show on the road. We'll be broadcasting from Chicagoland businesses enjoying success as they serve their customers and clients through the hard work of their employees. We want to hear your story, share your success, and find out what makes your business tick. It's the Signature Bank Business Tour. to submit your business for consideration, just go to businessbanktour.com. That's businessbanktour.com, and we might be broadcasting from your location in the near future.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
This is better than I expected. You guys, your customer service and everything, you guys are great. Yeah, you're the best company out there. And the commercials, you know, they talk about it, but a lot of times it's like, I don't know if it really gives it true justice of what this really is. People need to know. This is maybe the most amazing product I've ever tried. You can just feel the energy. It's so pure. It tastes so good. I'm just blown away by it. It's amazing.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
This is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. The Fed did it again and helped push mortgage rates to yet another historic low. So are you holding off refinancing your home because you think rates may go even lower? Well, let me make your decision even easier. Let's refinance you now and take advantage of this opportunity. If rates drop more than 0.5% in the next 24 months, I will refinance you at the lower rate at no closing costs. Other lenders state that they'll refinance you, but watch out for the fine print. So if you have a conventional loan that's over 4.75 or FHA or VA loan over 4.5, you have nothing to lose and thousands to save. So find out how much you can save. Just pick up the phone to call me personally. That's 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN. Or find me on the web at windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, quite a weekend in NFL playoff football with both the Patriots and Saints going down.
And in such dramatic fashion, overtime, contests. Yeah, people love when I talk about gridiron.
But the best part of the Patriots losing, and there are many good parts to it, the best part is you get a Bill Belichick post-game press conference after a playoff loss, which is always a treat. Bill Belichick, his disdain of the press rhetorically
is
even
worse or better than Ricky Gervais.
It's even more pronounced than the disdain on his face. And that's no easy feat. This guy should be Trump's spokesman, and he should restart the press briefings just so Bill Belichick can go out and treat the D.C. press corps like he treats the NFL press corps. On the question of bringing back Tom Brady?
Bill, do you anticipate the Patriots will bring back Tom Brady for the 2020 season?
Right now, we just finished the game, so we're focused on this game, okay?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill, what about Tom Brady?
What did you tell the players?
Bill, what was the message to the players after the game? I know it was a tough, long season. I know they're hurting right now, but what was your message to them?
Yeah. I'll keep that between me and the players, like I always do.
Just icing them out.
Hey,
One question at a time.
Hey, Bill, what happened on offense?
Bill, offensively, how would you sum what went wrong for your group today?
We didn't score enough points.
We just didn't make enough plays, made some
There you go.
opportunities, and just weren't able to score enough points.
Yeah.
13 wasn't enough.
Yeah, 13 is less than 20, so that was the problem there. This is why he's the greatest of all time, because he knows these things about the game. I mean, Bill Belichick, I just, if I could ask him one question.
What?
Bill, do you think the press is the enemy of the people?
Well, we just want to know, did we see Tom Brady's last football game? But I guess we'll continue that conversation later. Now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunny skies, and a new rideshare tax goes into effect in Chicago today. We'll see a high of 42 degrees later on. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 8 o'clock.
He was a heroic leader. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Iraq's prime minister said today about a militia commander who was killed along with a top Iran general in last week's airstrike. This as hundreds of thousands gather in Iran for General Soleimani's funeral. And they also chanted death to America.
The replacement for Soleimani, Ismail Qani, says Iran will fight to get the U.S. out of Iraq and has also vowed to hit American forces in the region. There are concerns tonight in Baghdad that Iranian-backed Iraqi Shia militias could target some of these U.S.-related spaces.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Baghdad. President Trump's warned of more strikes, which Democrats don't like. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Bob Menendez wrote a letter to the president calling for the immediate declassification of the war powers notification sent to Congress. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, told Fox and Friends the leaders are playing politics.
They know better. They know that beginning this week there will be congressional briefings, and they're not restricted.
President Trump is threatening a disproportionate response if Iran strikes American targets or lives. House Democrats plan to move this week to try to limit the president's military action towards Iran. Dave?
Regional Democrats running for president have also been critical. A new CBS poll has Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, and Pete Buttigieg in a three-way tie in Iowa less than a month before the first contest there. Harvey Weinstein has told Fox News in an email he expects to be fully exonerated in the one trial stemming from numerous sexual misconduct allegations. Answering questions by the email, the ex-Hollywood producer due in court today. Jury selection starts tomorrow in New York.
Weinstein is facing 5 charges, including rape and sexual assault against 2 women, and has pleaded not guilty to all of them. He has been free on $1 million bail, which was recently raised to $5 million. If convicted, Weinstein could get a life sentence.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America's listening to Fox News.
Sunshine, 28 degrees, 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A 20-year-old Chicago woman this morning held without bail on murder charges after police say she killed her 2 young sons, leaving one in a bathtub, throwing another from an 11th floor apartment window before jumping herself. Aaliyah Newell is charged with 2 counts of murder for the deaths of the boys, ages 2 years and 7 months. 2 men are dead, 2 others wounded following another Chicago mass shooting. Police say 3 men were standing near 100th and South Avenue M when 2 males jumped out of a vehicle that pulled up and fired shots at all 3. One of the 3 victims on the street pulled his own weapon, returning fire, killing one of the 2 gunmen. A restaurant security guard who shot and killed a man over the weekend on Chicago's northwest side is not facing charges. Police say the shooting happened Saturday during an armed confrontation in front of a restaurant in the 7100 block of West Diversey Avenue. That restaurant is the same place where another man was shot and killed during an armed robbery in 2017. Firefighters from Racine and Walworth counties in Wisconsin and several small fire departments in Illinois all chipped in to fight a 5-alarm blaze in the village of Genoa City. Fire started 9 a.m. yesterday at the Pebble Brook Apartments. There's no cause, although oxygen tanks may have been to blame. Blackhawks 4-2 winners over the Red Wings at the UC. Last night in college hoops in the Big Ten, Illinois, a blowout victory over Purdue, 63-37. Northwestern fell to Minnesota, 77-68. 8:03 time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. And now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stock futures are sharply lower. Oil and gold prices are higher on concerns about the impact of the U.S. killing of an Iranian general. Moody's says the geopolitical risk has significantly escalated, though Moody's continues to assume the U.S. and Iran will avoid an outright military conflict. Gold is trading at the highest levels in 7 years. Brent crude oil futures have topped $70 a barrel after the Defense Department warned there's a heightened risk of Iranian attacks against Saudi oil facilities. Bed Bath & Beyond has a deal to sell about half its real estate, then lease back the properties to help it pay back its debt. The locations to be sold include its Union, New Jersey headquarters. Bed Bath & Beyond will continue to occupy the properties under long-term leases. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees a robust economy.
You can't contradict that these are the best numbers of our lives.
So it was Jim Cramer, and he said no matter what you think of the president, there's no denying we are living in the best labor market in more than a generation. Well, we already know that. We've never had a better employment situation in the country than we do now.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
A business needs to be built on a great foundation, one with the framework of integrity and tradition. Chapel Design Build delivers just that, providing design build and general contracting services using Butler Steel Building Systems. Their projects dot the landscape from O'Hare to DeKalb. You see their work in office and warehouse additions, recreational facilities, large-scale distribution centers, and manufacturing plants all over northern Illinois. Partnering with Butler Steel Buildings, Chapel Design Build has developed an extensive subcontractor base and valuable market knowledge to get your quality-built project completed on time and on budget, ensuring your project is a success for your business and one that you will be proud of for years to come. The goal is to build lasting relationships with their clients using buildings that last from Butler. Get started on your next building project built with Butler Steel. Visit chapeldb.com. That's Chapel D as in design, B as in build.com.
Time's running out to win $5,000 a week forever from Publishers Clearinghouse. Enter now at PCH.com and you could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Don't miss your chance to win because $5,000 a week forever is guaranteed to be awarded on February 28th. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better hurry if you want the next big winner to be you. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Paging Brenda Lawson, bank account number 0040891, report to Gate 6.
Data breaches are on the rise, which means your personal info is practically being broadcast to identity thieves. Good thing there's LifeLock to help protect your identity. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but LifeLock helps look out for you, whether or not your information is exposed in a breach. Save up to 25% off your first year using promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
8:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and Jim Telemonte.
Traffic on the southbound tri-state is jammed 120 to 60 Town Line. There was a northbound crash in that area. The northbound delays are farther south from Roosevelt Road to the Grand Avenue curve after a collision. The Edens runs 19 minutes like Hook to Montrose outbound 27th. Kennedy, looking at about 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 28. Inbound Eisenhower, 48 minutes, 390 to the Burn Circle. 34 from Manheim, outbound 36 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to the Drive, outbound 36. The ride is 45 minutes, 95th to downtown. A crash near the Burn Circle just clear. I-57 is good. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 80-94 to the Merge. Northwest Indiana looks good. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next in our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds and sun today. High of 42, low of 27 overnight. currently 28. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. General David Petraeus, former CIA director, the point man on the surge in Iraq 15 years ago, was on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan over the weekend. And, of course, asked about the killing of General Soleimani. And he described that event this way.
What has happened here, I think, is frankly that we lost the element of deterrence, the component of deterrence that was seen as American will. Our drone, $130 million drone, was shot down, did nothing significant in response. 5% of the world's oil production taken out of operation, numerous attacks on shipping, and then attacks on our forces, ultimately, of course, killing an American and wounding 4 of our soldiers. So ultimately, the president appears to have decided that it was necessary to take an action to shore up deterrence, to show that we were not going to accept this.
Get our deterrence back, get our groove back, as it were. And that's what we've done, according to Petraeus. That's clearly the implication. He also described taking out Soleimani in terms of its importance, thusly.
I mean, it's impossible to overstate the significance of the attack that takes out Qasem Soleimani and the number 2 militia leader in Iraq as well, who also never dared to set foot in Iraq during the surge after we missed him and he escaped. So this is bigger than bin Laden. It's bigger than Baghdadi. This is the equivalent in U.S. terms of the CIA director, CENTCOM commander, JSOC commander, and presidential envoy for the region for Iran, and the most powerful figure in Iran for the solidification of the Shia crescent, and also the operational commander of the actions that they were pursuing.
That big. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Cliff May, president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for joining us.
It's good to be with you guys.
Do you agree with General Petraeus' assessment about the importance of this strike against Soleimani?
Well, I do. I mean, 2 quick points I'll make. One is these are questions one should ask. Was it justified? I don't think any question that it was justified. Qasem Soleimani was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of Americans, the maiming of many more, and hundreds of thousands of Syrians and others. He's responsible for terrorism acts around the world, from Argentina to Bulgaria to Thailand to France, and plots in the United States, which happily were foiled. So it was absolutely justified. As to whether it's wise, meaning whether it's strategic, I think there General Petraeus makes a very important point. Point is that it was necessary at some point, it seems to me certainly, to reestablish deterrence, which was no longer there. You know, if I tell you one quick story, in 1979, the revolution took place, as you guys may recall. I was there for a few months as a reporter covering the revolution, left, and then in the fall, 40 years ago, last fall, the U.S. Embassy was taken over by followers of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who was the first supreme leader. He watched what happened. He saw that Carter was feckless. He said famously, "The Americans can't do a damn thing." That's been a slogan recited ever since. In fact, on January 1st, just a few days ago, in response to Mr. Trump's vow to hold Iran's rulers fully responsible for any lives that might be lost at the besieged U.S. Embassy in Baghdad this time, not Tehran, but Baghdad, the new supreme leader, which is Ali Khamenei, his official website proclaimed, "There is no damn thing you can do." Well, President Trump showed there is a damn thing he could do. The leading terrorist of what a Republican and Democratic administrations alike have long said is the leading terrorist, state-sponsored terrorism in the world, he has been eliminated. I I think that's an important thing to do now. Is it, if you don't appease, if you don't feed the alligator, is it possible the alligator is going to attack you? It's absolutely possible. You have to decide how you're going to handle that situation.
Well, and he said on Air Force One last night when he's coming back to D.C. from Mar-a-Lago, saying they've allowed to kill our people. They're allowed to torture and maim our people. They're allowed to use roadside bombs and blow up our people, and we're not allowed to touch their cultural sites. It doesn't work that way. Do you think really he should focus on these cultural sites that he mentioned?
No, I don't think they should focus on the cultural sites. I'm not quite sure what he means. I think it was not a smart thing to say. I'm somebody. If we're talking about Iranian culture, which it's an ancient culture, long precedes Islam, and certainly the kind of Islam that is represented by the current supreme leader and the previous supreme leader, that's very different. I don't want to touch that. I'm in favor of Iranian nationalism. Iranian nationalism is a good thing because the Islamic Republic of Iran is the enemy of the Iranian nation. Ayatollah Khomeini was very clear about that. He said that patriotism is paganism. What do you mean by that? He meant you don't worship a nation, you don't love a nation, you love Allah. He said, let this land, meaning Iran, burn, if that means that Islam will be dominant in the world. So look, this president is often loose with his lips and doesn't say things clearly and is not precise in his language. If he's talking about destroying things that are important to the Islamic Republic of Iran, important to the supreme leader, that's fine. I think cultural, that's the wrong word to use. Again, I'm not sure what he meant, and not the first time he's used the wrong word. What I imagine is happening now, two things. One is Ayatollah Khamenei is considering, and they've said 35, they're looking at 35 different targets that they might want to hit. I also think that President Clinton is being presented by the intelligence community and by the Pentagon with a menu of targets we might want to hit in retaliation. I don't think we're talking about boots on the ground. We don't want to occupy Tehran, of course not. But you imagine, for example, sinking their navy, which is used to harass shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. That navy could sink to the bottom of the harbor. You can imagine their air force. It's not huge, but being destroyed on runways. You can imagine some of their nuclear facilities where work on nuclear weapons that they deny has been taking place. You could take those out of commission. There's a lot of you could do in order to make them understand that they do not want to climb the escalating ladder because they will not get to the top before we do.
And just with respect to some of the hysterics from the left about World War III and about reinstituting the draft and millions of soldiers and this and that, you could just give us a bit of an assessment and insight on what the capacity to do some of those things is with our military guys operating joysticks from sheds in New Mexico as opposed to having boots on the ground.
That's exactly right. We have. There's no reason. There's no interest. It would make no sense. I'm quite confident. We don't want to occupy Tehran. We don't want to take over that country. We don't want to be we want the Iranians to liberate themselves. They want to do so from this despicable regime. There have been protests that have broken out in hundreds of cities. I'm sure there are differences with the country. I'm not sure they can do it. It's this regime that we oppose, and clipping their wings, hurting their power. That we may want to do. We don't. Listen. This should be easy for people to understand. The ultimate goal of this regime for 40 years has been stated plainly. It is chanted in mosques every Friday night by clerics who are loyal to this regime. The chant is death to America. Mm-hmm. Now that's the intention. They have not had the capability. They've done us quite a bit of damage, but they haven't. How do they get the capability? Well, nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to targets anywhere on Earth through the use of ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles. That would be very useful if they want to match the capability of their intentions. So we don't want them to have that. They can remain a weak nation. We can continue to support them economically. They're just not a powerful nation economically. They're much better now than they were before President Trump took office. He took a very different view of this than did his predecessor, President Obama. President Obama thought it's an experiment. that he could appease them, that he could buy them off, that he could show them respect, give them power, give them money, pallets of cash on airplanes, billions of dollars in trade, and tell them that they could share the neighborhood, quote unquote, with Saudi Arabia. And he thought that would be enough for them. They'll accept that. They'll be happy with that. And they weren't. One illustration that occurs to me all the time is 2015, the JCPOA, the Iran deal, was concluded. Early the following year, just months later, what happens? They capture two naval vessels of ours. They take the sailors. They hold them hostage. They publicly humiliate them.
Right.
Eventually, they give them back, and John Kerry says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." That's what they want. When you'll often hear what they say is they want to end American arrogance. What they mean is Americans should know their place. They should. This is an imperialist regime is trying to reestablish in the 20th century a great Islamic empire that they would control, one that would be dominant, one that would put the Crusaders and the Zionists and other infidels and the Muslim heretics in their place. That's what they're about. This is not something, and again, the experiment was tried. President Obama to say, isn't there they get along, coexist, treat each other well? And they said no very clearly.
One other thing General Petraeus said on Face the Nation was, he's basically saying, now I want to know what's next. What's the Trump administration's next decision after this? And he suggested that a smart decision would be to open up diplomatic channels now. Now that they know that where the line is, and that you can test or push President Trump only so far, now it would behoove President Trump to lead the move to open diplomatic channels and try to negotiate a de-escalation.
Well, I disagree, but it's not true that we haven't had diplomatic channels all along. There's an Iranian ambassador in New York to the UN. We have an intersection at the Swiss embassy in Tehran. The Europeans talk to them and have relations with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Iraqis, of course, do as well, because the Iraqis, as you know, have been trying and may succeed in taking control fully.
But making the first making the first overture maybe is what he was referencing.
Well, listen, it's worth considering. I'm not sure what that overture would be. He said, and I think Mike Pompeo has said many times, we're willing to sit down and talk with you. We're willing to negotiate with you. But it's got to be, we need realistic negotiations. And we're not going to pay a price to have you come to the table or to send Foreign Minister Javad Zarif to Vienna to take dinner at a fancy restaurant with our Secretary of State. That's not how it works. But we'll sit down and talk anytime. I think he can reiterate that. But I don't see that would be anything very new. We're not going to apologize.
No, but Cliff, this morning CNN had Iranian government official on saying we are going to strike back, but we don't want to go to war with you. So it's like they have to kick back, and then that's it. Yeah,
that may be. Listen, there's two things that come in. Ayatollah Khamenei is extremely. First of all, look, he would like revenge. He was very close to Soleimani. Who for 20 years was his right hand, maybe something of a son. He was his sword of jihad out there, and he did not. And they got too complacent. They did. Soleimani would walk around and take selfies of himself in his tailored uniform. The predator doesn't think he has any danger from the prey. That's why Petraeus is talking about reestablishing deterrence. But he also has to think strategically beyond revenge. He has to think, how much do I want to poke the bear? Enough to make him, that I get over this humiliation and get some revenge, but not enough that he may think Trump has shown that he can be unpredictable. And again, for 40 years, Americans were very predictable. They cannot do a damn thing. Americans get killed in Iraq by Shia militias instructed by Soleimani, and guess what? Nothing happens to them. Nothing. We try to blow up a restaurant, Georgetown, here in Washington, full of diners and full with Saudi ambassadors there. And President Obama says, well, in time, I'm sure they'll pay a price. But, of course, they never did pay a price or anything else they did. So he needs to think carefully. Is it President Trump will do something like, say, Do we know where the supreme leader is? And can we hit him in his bed? And maybe he would do that. So he may want to be careful how far he goes in terms of revenge. One thing he may consider is he knows now that a red line for this president is killing actual Americans. The American that was killed most recently was a contractor. A lot of people think, oh, it's just an American contractor. That's not important. We're angry about that, like we were about the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi who was writing for the Washington Post. That makes us a contractor, American soldier. Well, what do you do? That's not how President Trump views it. So one thing they may do is they may try to take this out not on an American, maybe on the Saudis, maybe on the Israelis, maybe on, who knows, on maybe in Europe, someplace else, and think that way President Trump won't be angry enough to retaliate. And maybe that's accurate as well. But they have to think, we want revenge, but strategically, are there things we could do that will make this situation worse for us? We don't know how rational they're going to be about this, how emotional they're going to be about this. I'm not smart enough to predict that. I'm not sure anybody necessarily is. But that's what they're thinking through now. How do we respond to this, and what happens after we respond?
All right. He is Cliff May, president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Dan.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I was having a hard time breathing. It was hard for me to put one foot in front of the other. It was just awful. I feel 100% better. I mean, I can breathe. I don't feel that weight on my chest anymore. My head feels clearer, and my husband can tell that I've seen more up about things. The fact that I feel better and my husband can tell my head is better, I'm just like singing from the rooftops about that.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and to make a difference this Christmas season.
We're talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program.
We've partnered with Food for the Poor to feed thousands of families fleeing from the socialist crisis in Venezuela. These families are now in Colombia and are desperate. Food for the Poor is working with local partners at feeding sites to make sure these families survive.
And your business can be a part of the solution. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. When you do that, AM560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air right here on AM560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Netkowski at 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951. One more time, the number 847-472-8951.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. NMLS ID 128231. Equal housing lender. Not licensed in all states, including New York. Offer not available in Washington. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions.
If you're like most people, then saving money in 2020 is on your New Year's resolution list. At Cash Call Mortgage, that's one resolution we can help you achieve. Right now, we're offering an incredibly low 2.875%, 3.076% APR 15-year fixed loan. So if you have a mortgage interest rate of 2.99% or greater, call us and see how much you can save on your current mortgage payment. We can close your refi in as fast as 20 days with no upfront deposit. If you qualify, we'll even pay your closing cost. At Cash Call Mortgage, our New Year's resolution is to help folks save money and have a happier financial new year.
For a free quote to see if you qualify, visit cashcallmortgage.com or call us at 800-990-6947. That's 800-990-6947. 800-990-6947.
It's a real-world reality. Gunshots. Sometimes the results are tragic. Now, there's gunshot detection technology and active shooter countermeasure technology available right now. And it was developed for the U.S. government.
Hey, this is Mike Walsh. My company is Walsh Wireless. We are the Chicagoland dealer for gunshot detection technology. This gunshot detection system is nothing short of amazing, and it is highly effective. Who uses it? Government, healthcare, education, houses of worship, entertainment, and a lot more. There are no false positives, and that's good. The system can identify the caliber of the gun, so law enforcement can be prepared. This gunshot detection system can also work with your current security system to do a lockdown, instant notification, and more. Identify the gunshot and cut down response time. You need this. Gunshot detection technology from Walsh Wireless. Cost-effective solution to counter a real-world reality.
Financing available. Go to walshwireless.com. A proud IBEW contractor. walshwireless.com.
AM 560.
The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well, we learned after the Patriots' loss on Saturday that Gisele Bündchen likes Tom Brady because he's pretty, not because he speaks the English.
I personally, appreciate, everything that they've, contributed over the course of, not just this year, but a lot of years. And, just very grateful for, the experience of playing this year for this team, this organization, and over the course of my career, too. So I appreciate it. I hope I've always, tried to do the right thing out there.
Yeah.
And, who knows what the future holds. So we'll leave it at that.
All right,
Leave it at that. What do you mean?
Well,
I kept, can you imagine after 20 years in the league, your last pass is a pick six? I mean, really?
it happens when you throw the ball. So,
when you throw the ball.
Which should have been a 99-yard touchdown. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah,
It's not his last pass in the NFL. He'll be back with the Patriots next year.
You think so?
No happy ending for Bob Kraft and company, though, on Saturday.
Oh, hey, it ended early.
Well, off to Orchids of Asia.
Yes. Now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are sunny this morning. 28 degrees. The daughter of an Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani, says his death will bring a dark day for the U.S. In an address broadcast today on Iranian state TV, the daughter of the general taunted the president and those here in the U.S. Democrat presidential hopeful Elizabeth Warren now questions the timing of the U.S. airstrike that killed the top general.
Why not a month ago? Why not a month from now? And the answer from the administration seems to be they can't keep their story straight on this.
Senator Marco Rubio of Florida says the president has really shown restraint after many recent acts of violence in the Middle East.
This president has shown tremendous restraint after 11 rocket attacks, after everything that happened in the shipping lanes, after the mines that they placed on those ships, after the attacks against Saudi Arabia.
There's no threat of a tsunami following an early morning earthquake in Puerto Rico. The Geological Survey says it was a 5.8 magnitude quake centered about 8 miles from Indios on the island's southeast coast. Authorities say a 9-year-old girl was among 5 killed in a crash on the Pennsylvania Turnpike that also injured 60 on Sunday. Chernobyl, this year's Golden Globes winner for Best Limited Series or TV Movie. The HBO series also won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. Chicago-based Boeing reporting more problems with its grounded 737 MAX airliner. The company now telling the FAA it's trying to determine if wiring that controls the plane's tail could short circuit and possibly cause a crash. 2 men are dead, 2 others wounded following another Chicago mass shooting. Chicago police tell us it happened yesterday near 100th Street and South Avenue M. Chicago man is in jail after Madison, Wisconsin police say he held a loaded gun to his girlfriend's head. Officers arrested Derek Rush on Saturday. Bears offensive lineman Kyle Long retiring from the NFL and football after 7 seasons in this city. Former Pro Bowl guard tweeting last night that he was drafted a Bear and decided to retire a Bear. Blackhawks score 4 unanswered in a 4-2 win over the Red Wings at the UC. Last night in college hoops, Fighting Illini blow out Purdue 63-37. Northwestern fell to Minnesota 77-68. The news, a service of Staples, with a huge selection of ink and toner in stock at low prices this week. All HP ink cartridges are buy one, get one 30% off. Save on your office essentials at Staples. There's a whole lot more in store. Offer ends 1/11/20. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/Inc. Savings. Staples. 8:33, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is all in.
I am one of the few who's never wavered in my support of Donald Trump. It's real simple. When you know that the alternative to Donald Trump is unthinkable in terms of our nation's economy, our military, our sovereignty, our borders, this is an easy call. This hasn't been hard for me.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Now that winter's here, how's your fireplace and chimney? Before you light the first fire, have your chimney cleaned and inspected by Chicagoland's most trusted fireplace and chimney company. The experts at Fireplace and Chimney Authority will give your family peace of mind that your fireplace is safe and works properly all season long. And if you call today, get $45 off a cleaning and inspection. You'll be all set. Since 1995, Fireplace and Chimney Authority has been the favorite for everything fireplace and chimney. For a limited time, get 10% off any new purchase of a fireplace, new doors, gas logs, insert, or fireplace tool sets and screens. With record-breaking cold predicted this winter, now is a great time to update your existing fireplace or add a new fireplace to your home. Remember to get your fireplace serviced this winter and receive $45 off your chimney cleaning and inspection. Call Fireplace and Chimney Authority now, 630-279-8500, or visit online, fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com. fireplaceandchimneyauthority.com.
Get the best sleep of your life. Helix makes personalized mattresses to fit your unique body type and sleep preferences. Go to helixsleep.com and get up to $200 off during their holiday sale.
8:36 in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Kennedy inbound traffic stop and go Irving Park to the Burn Circle. It's 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 31 in the express lanes. Outbound 35 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 19 minutes, like the junction, outbound 27. Eisenhower, 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, 34 from Manheim, outbound 37 minutes to 390. Got a crash reported before 390. Mount Stevenson at First Avenue, got a wreck on the left shoulder. It's now an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57's good, Bishop Ford, 18 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State has delays, 120 to 60 after a wreck. I'm Jim Telemonte.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Clouds and sun today, high 42. Currently 28 at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560, The Answer, online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, and your Alexa-powered smart speaker, on TuneIn, iHeart, and radio.com. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We watched the pertinent parts of the Golden Globes yesterday, so you didn't have to.
I have to turn that on. I watched it in its entirety. And I was really taken back by the host. I thought, are you kidding me? I
Sad commentary
deal
on
with
your
this
Sunday night.
smug person for 3 hours.
Didn't like Ricky Gervais.
No, I did not like Ricky Gervais. And he was drinking his beer, trying to be cool and hip and angry.
Yeah. Okay.
didn't see that as
312-642-5600 Turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA Turnkey.pro text line. We apparently have a different sense of humor, and also
We do.
we have concern differences with respect to concern for the very fragile egos of the men and women without chests that were in attendance to get their little trophies. Ricky Gervais started
God, he's coming in hot, folks.
started hard. He went right after
Yeah.
Hollywood's cancel culture.
I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English, and they've no idea what Twitter is. So I got offered this gig by fax. So let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no sequel. So
Yeah, and there's a lot of truth in comedy, and there was a lot of truth in Ricky Gervais's thinly veiled comedy, Identity Politics.
many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. So, fifth time. So, we were going to do an in memoriam this year, but when I saw the list of people that had died, it wasn't diverse enough. It just, no. It was mostly white people, and I thought, nah, not on my watch. So,
who are they laughing at?
He just ripped the Hollywood elite.
You know,
I mean, nonstop.
Yeah, it was a big year for a certain category of Hollywood elites.
But tonight isn't just about the people in front of camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, he's definitely not coming back.
And it reminded me of Chappelle's stand-up special that went viral, his most recent one, where he impersonated a woke walker, and he asked the audience, "Who am I impersonating?" And they like nervous laughter. I'm impersonating you. This is you. This is who you are. Ricky Gervais was like a mirror last night. Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. From the nervous laughter to the spitting in the face of the people he needs, which is something I love. Especially it was the, what's the side saddle from Apple? What's his name?
Tim Cook.
Tim Cook. Did you see Tim Cook's face? It was incredible. And the idea
Tim Cook wasn't ready for the Chinese labor camps barb that came directed at Apple from Gervais.
It was absolutely phenomenal. And what made it more fun is when the morons who were so detached from reality, like Joaquin Phoenix, got up and did it anyway. It was just fantastic. He should do every award show from here on out.
I think you, like Amy, thanks for the call, Sean. You, like Amy, are missing the Joaquin Phoenix thing.
No, I thought that he was still in character as the Joker, and he was creepy, and it weirded me out.
I'm learning so much, and so many of you in this room have given me multiple opportunities to try to get it right, and I'm deeply grateful. But I think together, hopefully, we can be unified and actually make some changes. It's great to vote, but sometimes we have to take that responsibility on ourselves and make changes and sacrifices in our own lives. And I hope that we can do that. We don't have to take private jets to Palm Springs for the awards sometimes or back.
Play that music. It's going to set them off.
And I'll try to do better, and I hope you will too. Thank you so much for putting up with me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this night and all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was sarcasm.
I don't think so.
Performance art. Have you followed Joaquin Phoenix when he was retiring from acting to become a rapper? His famous interview with David Letterman. That's what this guy does. That's what this guy does. He was having fun at the audience's expense, just as Gervais was.
So he wasn't serious when he was talking about cutting down on carbon emissions and telling his friends, just drive to Palm Springs instead of fly your private jets.
Yeah.
So I've been had.
How does that sound to you? That sounds like sarcasm to me. I mean, if he has an ounce of self-awareness, and he does. I mean, it's just that's what he does. Compare that to the uncomfortable self-awareness Ricky Gervais imposed on the audience.
This show should just be me coming out going, well done, Netflix, you win everything. Good night. But no, we got to drag it out for 3 hours. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer. And it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
And you mentioned Tim Cook. This is what it was like. You could cut the tension with a knife.
Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show. A superb drama, yeah. A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God,
and swear.
So,
and shut the front door.
It's already 3 hours.
And he was trying to speed it along, like, don't just thank your God, your agent, and move on. Don't talk politics.
You know what? If there wouldn't have been cameras in the room, do you think they would have gone to such effort to pretend that they could laugh at themselves? Now that's acting.
Oh, yeah.
Bob in Buffalo Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call, Dan and Amy. Good comments by Sean from Elmwood Park. I watched all of it last night. I thought Gervais did a great job with his quips. There wasn't too much political upcoming election comments, except for what Patricia Arquette said in the coming war in the election. And then, of course, they talked a little bit about
brush fire.
Yeah, the brush fire.
It's all because of climate change.
Yes. Yeah, it's fascinating. Don't you two have anything better to do? The Hawks were on last night. They beat the Wings.
Wait, what?
Bob, Amy. I mean, I understand going on Twitter and picking out some of the good parts, like the Ricky Gervais monologue. I mean,
I wanted to see Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston get back together again. They were both there in the same room.
Oh, boy.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
AmericanEagle.com has been fortunate to develop thousands of business websites over the past 15 years. Businesses just like yours. Don't think because they advertise on the radio and mention big clients like Portillo's, WeatherTech, and Dairy Queen that they won't give your small to medium-sized business the same great service. Small and medium-sized companies are a huge part of AmericanEagle.com's clients. AmericanEagle.com's continued success is because they're capable of a wide range of projects from small to extremely large. They view all clients as long-term partners on every internet endeavor. When you're looking for an experienced and reputable partner for any of your internet-related projects, consider AmericanEagle.com. They'll likely be able to show you a project they've already done that's similar to what your company needs. AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development, hosting, and maintenance. You can reach AmericanEagle.com on the web or at 773-NETWORK. That's 773-NETWORK.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I just want to tell you that I can't believe what this has done, and I've only been taking it for, a couple of months? I don't know. I got to the point where I was very discouraged, and My energy was down, and I tell you, my wife says this stuff is wonderful. I feel so much better. My attitude is different. My energy is good, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
See how getting a variety of over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can make a difference for you this year. To help you start your New Year's resolutions right, Balance of Nature is offering 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This New Year's special won't last, so call in now. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Restaurants come and go, and very few last. But when you find a restaurant that's served margaritas, fun, and fantastic food for over 2 decades, you can bet it's great. That's the one-of-a-kind landmark Cafe Salsa Mexican Grill and Tequila Bar in Countryside. Cafe Salsa offers daily lunch specials, happy hour in the bar, half-price house margaritas on Wednesdays, and on Monday and Tuesday, 2 for $22 dinner specials. Ready to eat? Try their Mexican-inspired influences on traditional fare like Cafe Salsa's honey chipotle glazed pork chops, amazing carne asada, or churrasco with mushroom salsa, fajitas, or the many flavorful shrimp, steak, and chicken dishes hot off the wood fire grill. Cafe Salsa's dining room is perfect for birthdays and family get-togethers, so check out their complete menu at cafesalsa.com or call 708-352-5100. Make your plans for lunch or dinner today at Cafe Salsa, 55th Street and LaGrange Road in Countryside, or cafesalsa.com.
This is Dan Free of the Mortgage Update. What if I could lower your mortgage payment and also skip 2 months all at the same time? If you're looking to refinance, you're looking for financial relief in one way or another. Lower payments, shorter term, or even debt consolidation of those high interest rate credit cards. When I structure your refinance, I also look to save you as much money in the short term as I do the long term. Thanks to the Fed, you've been given another chance to lock in today's historic rates and save thousands. Your mortgage payment goes up every year because of your real estate taxes. That's out of your control. So fight the rise in your mortgage payment by doing something that you can control, and that's refinancing your mortgage to a lower rate. To reach me personally, call 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN. Or reach me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162. In 2019, Illinois became the abortion capital of the Midwest. But what are you going to do about it? Join thousands at the largest pro-life event in the Midwest, Saturday, January 11th at the March for Life Chicago. Hear from keynote speaker and abortion survivor Claire Caldwell, the Chicago Bears' Pat McCaskey, Cardinal Supich, and many other pro-life leaders. Check out new and expanded events all day, including the convention at the Congress Plaza Hotel, a youth rally, the March for Life rally and March at Daly Plaza, a dinner banquet, even swing dancing into the night. Purchase your tickets to the banquet and cocktail hour, sign up for a free fast pass to the convention, and find out more at marchforlifechicago.org. The 2020 March for Life Chicago theme is Life Empowers. Pro-life is pro-woman. The voiceless need a voice. March for babies, march for women, march for life. Visit marchforlifechicago.org today. That's marchforlifechicago.org.
Doors or windows sticking? Uneven floors? New cracks in your drywall or exterior brickwork? Bowing basement walls? Does any of this sound familiar? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Many homeowners across Chicagoland are experiencing these symptoms of structural foundation issues. All too often I hear of a homeowner that paid for an expensive consultation just to determine the problem. Don't be one of them. Call Permaseal at 800-421-SEAL. Our certified structural consultants will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. From Waukegan to DeKalb to Kankakee, we're committed to providing you with quality products and the superior service that you deserve. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL. When the work is done, you'll have a transferable warranty along with priceless peace of mind. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Known best for being better, Permaseal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
I put the singing single. Ain't worried about a ring.
Yeah, is this true? Josh Gundelman writing at thecut.com about how he, has a disposition to want people to like them, to like him, I should say. If somebody doesn't like him, he tries to wear them down with relentless kindness until one of us either moved to another city or died.
I know, I wrote that in this article.
But his effort to get people to like him changed when he met his wife, who taught him the fine art of having enemies. Is it true that, do you find this, that your spouse's enemies become your enemies? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Excuse me. Just by working with you, your enemies have become my enemies.
So your work spouse's enemies become your enemies, too.
Like, for case in point, Karen Lewis unfollowed you on Twitter. Then she unfollowed me on Twitter. Anyone who unfollows you, then unfollow me, and I never even tweeted at them or following them.
You're
on
just
Twitter.
Collateral damage. Yeah.
It's awful. Thanks, Dan.
What about when your spouse becomes one of your enemies?
Oh,
Like
then
when it
you have to
becomes your
decide.
ex-spouse?
When you get divorced, you have to decide what friends are going in what camp.
Right.
Like you got to choose your starting lineup. And then the backup. Who's on the bench?
Do you rehabilitate any of the enemies you had, since your new enemy is your spouse, and so his enemies, in your case, are no longer your enemies? Do you bring some of them back? Can they be rehabilitated into friends?
Yeah, that's always a possibility. Yeah.
He writes, Josh Gundelman, explaining, a truth less frequently expressed than, obviously your partner's friends become your friends and all that. A truth less frequently expressed is, along with your expanding set of group text change and work parties and framed concert posters, you acquire an increasingly vast assortment of enemies. Enemies in law, to put it precisely, childhood bullies, estranged best friends, snotty adult cousins, professional nemesis, celebrity grudges, unaffectionate neighborhood dogs.
Oh, my God.
Boy, these may be your partner's enemies, and if you're devoted, they'll become your enemies too.
You can't.
If
your spouse has an enemy, you can't befriend that enemy. You got to be on the same team.
Can you be Switzerland?
And be neutral, or Sweden. Thank you for forgetting that country too. You could be, but it's not right. It's kind of like cheating on your spouse, I think. So I want you to think through this very carefully, Dan.
Well, this is
before you go in
I'll
China,
get to the
because every time
conclusion.
you go on vacation, I get strange text messages and emails from people saying, "Is he tying the knot?" No, he's just on vacation.
See, Josh
So many
Gundelman
people are interested in your love life.
explains, when the person you love decides that someone in the world brings him or her only frustration and pain, that person is your enemy, even if that person has always been cool to you in the past, or you've never actually met the person, or your partner has never actually met the person. The more you love someone, the more ardently you should feel not just obligated, but driven to want to destroy the people your loved one wishes ill. I mean, it sounds like you're a contract killer for your partner's enemies, real or imagined.
I love the way he ended the article. I'm not great at having my own enemies, but I do my best, and I don't worry too much because I know that if there are people who really rub me the wrong way, my lovely wife will destroy them.
Yeah.
Ooh. But hasn't that ever happened when you dated somebody and you became friends with their friends, but you also hated their enemies? 312-642-5600.
There's
never
so
too
ma-
late to call in real quick with some
I have
advice.
so many enemies, and there's so many people on my hit list. I really don't have room. I just don't have the bandwidth. So maybe I do. I mean, so this cuts both ways. I don't need any more enemies, so that's why Dan Proft is single. But maybe he shouldn't be, because he needs some reinforcements for the enemies he already has.
You know what's hard for me right now? Bunky's enemies.
Trying to think about
I'm trying
that.
to be nice to Bunky's enemies. Bunky's not.
How does Bunky have enemies?
Because he's not a fan of the Labradoodle. We have a Labradoodle.
Isn't Bunky a
next
girl?
Bunky's a girl. Sorry. Labradoodle next door that bit Bunky's tongue. And I try to be nice to the dog when Bunky's not around, but it's very hard for me to be nice to the dog because he has bit my dog. So does Hayek have any enemies?
No. Hayek is a beloved figure in the community.
Is he the mascot of Lake Point Tower?
He doesn't. No, mascot. He's
Kiss the paw before you press the up button in the elevator, please.
He's he's a civic leader now. So.
Oh wait, he's president of the condo board, right?
But the issue though is that my enemies.
Oh yes, sorry, back to
become Hayek's enemies.
Oh, see, and then you say sick balls, and then next thing you know, he's grabbing onto something that you weren't sure, Eddie might take a hold of.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm already putting a lot of weight on Hayek with my enemies that have to become his enemies, that have to be on the lookout, like when we go for a walk and stuff. I
Right.
don't know that I should
Is he
bring
cagey?
another person's enemies into this situation. This is complicated. I never really thought about it this way until I
Oh,
read
it's so
this
true.
piece about.
It
I
is
mean,
a
it
great
makes
piece.
sense to some extent, but this is much more comprehensive and dogmatic.
You should
than
tweet
I
this
thought.
out, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I until about 5 years ago, I got along with basically everyone, and then I got married. Why Dan Proft is single?
Doesn't that explain? Thanks so much for making us part of your more. Oh wait, that's not me. That's the music. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our wonderful technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who shall be what today, Dad?
He's one of Ricky Gervais's writers.
Oh, that is true. Don't forget to check out the Steve Cortez Show, which airs every day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 560, The Answer, 5 to 7 p.m. And we'll see you back here bright and early at 5 a.m. Now let's head straight into that newsroom for news here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
The latest on an earthquake